At one point, Russell Peters was the highest paid comedian in the world in 2013. The guy's made career earnings $75 million, got hundreds of millions of views online. You've laughed at many of his clips that have gone viral. I definitely have. I asked him a bunch of different questions. How much, for somebody that's families, how much has India changed the last 20, 30 years?
More money floating around, nicer cars. I mean, the poverty's still there. Obviously, it's not going away, but the rich have certainly gotten richer.
About the times he met with all these kings, dinner with the king of Jordan. What was that like? What's the craziest gift they gave him? I told him a unique story about a gift Arnold Palmer got once, the golfer. And then we talked about his daughter living in California, his 13-year-old daughter that came up to him at 11 years old with a very interesting story.
At 11, she wanted to be a boy. I was like, baby, you're not a boy. You're not even remotely tomboy. You're very girlish.
You're joking. Do you lose sleep over this? Does this bother you at all or not really?
No, because I don't believe it.
Most guys can't say what you just said. You lost 2 people due to economy.
Don't tell me I didn't do anything for my people. I opened a complete industry for them. I'm good with Hurricane Jose. It's not the first Hispanic to blow me.
See, that's the gift. That's the gift that just comes like this. Anyways, we had such a good time that the whole entire podcast, after it was done, laughing, cracking up, went to the house. We had dinner at Casa D'Angelo, then went out, had a cigar, had 2 cigars, went to the lounge. But I hope you enjoyed this next podcast as much as I did. I laughed. We had great conversations. We had exchanges. But I hope you enjoyed this podcast with Russell Peters.
30 seconds. Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me. Yeah, why would you bet on Goliath when we got Bet David? Valuetainment, giving values contagious. This world of entrepreneurs, we get no value to haters. How they run, homie, look what I become. I'm the one.
So listen, I wish the last 12 minutes was recorded because the podcast started way before everybody was ready. We've been laughing our asses off. I knew this guy was funny. I didn't know he spoke Assyrian. He's got a few Assyrian words. Right off the bat, it was Farsi. He just did Armenian. This is a guy that, if you follow comedy, I've been watching this guy for God knows how long. Very wealthy guy. He made a lot of money. He's made a lot of money. Matter of fact, if you need a loan, we're going to put a link below to the Bank of Russell Peters for you guys to reach out at a 40% interest rate with a great credit score. He'd consider it. But there's a lot we can say about him. You've seen him. You've seen him do a bunch of different things. Russell, it's great to have you on, man.
Thanks, PBD.
Yes.
Peanut Butter and David.
Peanut Butter and David. The first time I had PBJ, my wife made it because her name is Jennifer.
Right.
I'd never had PBJ before. Somebody says, so are you guys ever going to date or no? I said, when we get back, we'll figure out something out. Then she made me peanut butter jelly. I'd never had it here.
Did you like it?
30 years old. Was good. First one I ever had.
What's funny is I don't like peanut butter. I like peanut butter.
Yeah.
I don't like peanut butter and jelly.
You don't like it?
It's too much. Too much going on for me.
My kids like it.
Yeah,
remember, my wife is white.
What?
So PBJ.
I gotta go, guys. This podcast.
Yeah, she's white. I know. I want to say right off the bat. I want to say right off the bat. But what I like about you is, that's interesting, is you don't discriminate. Okay.
I don't.
Armenians, you're okay with.
Yep.
You've had your fair share of Armenian experience.
I have had
right?
It was a good experience.
Was it?
It was a good experience.
Is there any disclaimer about the cost of living when you date an Armenian, or is it relatively the same? Because I have as well. I'm just wondering from somebody with experience.
The Armenian I was with, no, she was very easy to deal with.
Really?
She was not a problem. I was the problem, if anything.
You were.
What are you gonna do?
Okay. And then you have Honduras as well, apparently, right? That was a Miss Universe.
Yeah. Well, my son's mother. She's a Jennifer as well.
She's a Jennifer as well.
Yeah, she was Miss Honduras.
Miss Honduras.
In Miss Universe in 2012.
Now, but this is pre-modern day Miss Universe. You got a question. So you're part of the safe era of Miss Universe and Miss.
Is it 2012? I think no, they hadn't gone too safe yet.
Really?
I think maybe a couple of years out. But I remember her telling me about meeting Donald Trump and said he was very nice and very respectful.
Right.
So I was like,
I guess what I'm talking about is nowadays.
I see what you mean.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
You have to double check now.
Yeah.
But you're part of the safe community,
It's like that story of the guy who throws Viagra in a girl's drink and if she gets an erection, then she's not the one for him.
Hey, how you feeling? I don't know, man. I'm kind of excited right now. Yeah. It's funny. When I was in the Army, one of my friends, Bradford, he says he's going to Brazil. Mm-hmm. I say, it's his dream. So he saves this money. He's going to go to Brazil. In Army, you don't have a lot of money. So you save $5,000, $10,000 to go to Brazil. I said, how was it? He says, man, it was great. But one night I met this girl. She was drop dead gorgeous. I said, what happened? He says, we went back to her place. We got almost into a fist fight. Why? Because it wasn't a girl. Right. But it was so flawless that he couldn't tell the difference. The last time he ever went to Brazil, by the way.
You see, I've always been scared to go to Brazil.
Yeah.
Because it's two things I love the most in this world, jiu-jitsu and fat asses. And so I would come back with a black belt and HIV.
If you went to Brazil. Have you performed in Brazil or
no?
You're joking.
No, my jiu-jitsu teacher came like, boy, I'll take you to Brazil with me. Boy, like your driver out there.
40 countries, okay? You've toured, I think. I saw 40 plus countries.
I've actually never kept the stats or paid attention to them. I just, when you're in it, when you're in the tornado, you don't know what's happening. You're just trying to get out. We're not trying to get out, but you're trying to survive through it, What
do you think it is? Is it over 20? Is it over 30?
It's got to be definitely over that. It's
definitely over
40's fair, I think is a fair
40's
number,
fair?
at least. I think it sounds low even, but.
When's the last time you went on a full-blown tour?
It just ended in March.
What places did you go to?
This last leg was, I can't even remember, but it was Middle East and India.
Middle East?
Yeah.
Any stops at Gaza, Tehran, Tel Aviv, anything like that? Or
No. I went to, but I was close. I was in Egypt, and I just typed in Gaza on my Google Maps, and it was like I could see it on the map. I go, oh shit, it's right there. So, and that was like in
closest you've been. That's impressive.
That's close. I don't need to get any closer to that. And who knows when the Yahudi's going to do something? So I.
Yeah, you got to be ready for it. You saw what happened yesterday with Iran, with the Hamas leader got assassinated in Iran. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I saw that. I read that.
Yeah. So I'll give you a crazy story. I've never told this story. 4 weeks ago, I had a Zoom with the former president of Iran, Ahmadinejad. I don't know if you remember.
The one that used to wear the members-only jackets?
Members-only jacket. Yeah, I think that's the one you're talking about.
That's the guy, the little guy with the beard.
Yeah.
He looked like an Uber driver.
He did look like an Uber driver, but this is him, if that's who you're talking about.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. So we had a Zoom together. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, there's an assassination attempt on him, which happened like last week.
Really?
And I'm supposed to go to Iran to interview him. And they called me and they said, it's probably not a good idea for you to come to Iran to do an interview. And my wife agreed, and my family agreed, and we're probably going to
met you and I agree.
Yeah. Well, that's I appreciate the love, man. I mean, it's a lot of respect and love from you. By the way, all these places you perform, comedy, who's the easiest audience to please? Who is the toughest audience to please? Who's the most sensitive audience that you walk on eggshells?
Well, I would never say that anybody's easy because it's up to you to make it easy, right? They're already there to see you. So that's the easy part. Now the pressure's back on me. Am I going to do this right? Because my goal is always like, if I do a show for you, if you come to see me, I want you to want to come and see me again. Mm-hmm. Whether it's the same show or a different show, but I want you to be like, we had a good time, I want to go back and see that again, see what he's doing now. So that's always my goal. So no audience is easy per se, but some are, like Singapore's great. I go to Singapore, but I'll never phone it in for any of these places, even if I consider them easy.
Is there one where you're like, okay, these guys are going to be super sensitive, let me be careful with these guys when I say XYZ, or is that like because you're solid. You're very consistent. You don't hit a lot of topics that, are going to really piss a lot of people off. You have fun with it. You're coming from a different place.
It's always about, just putting the light. It's always about like putting the light on the elephant in the room. Basically, it's like, well, guys, we're all here. We know what's happening. Let's just talk about it a little bit. Just not even talk about it. Let's just dissect it a little bit just to see what happens.
Russell, for you right now, the last when I'm asking guys about comedy and your name comes up, and I go watch your stuff, and I'm like, I remember that, I remember this, I remember that. Like everything I see of you now, I pretty much remember seeing because I laughed my ass off going through the search we do as fans watching professionals like you. Russell Peters, go to filters, views. Go to the top. Start from the most viewed, and you work your way down. That's what I do as a fan. And one by one, I'm like, I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember this. In the 80s, it was a full bush. Then it was a landing strip.
Yes.
Then it was bald. Now it's boom. Yeah. You got you're right.
Yeah.
You're seeing all this stuff. And then when I talk to some of the guys in the industry, they say, yeah, Russell, just all of a sudden slow down. You know, he still makes people laugh. Everybody loves him. There is no controversy with you. There is nothing like, well, because of what happened with this and what happened with that. You just kind of like, are you at a phase where you're just chilling, having a good time? You don't feel like you want to drive as hard as you did before?
No, I still drive as hard as I used to. I mean, it's 35 years. Listen, it goes, you're not going to stay on top forever. It's just impossible. It's one of those, especially in comedy. Maybe in businesses you can, but there's going to be somebody new, brighter, new ideas, prettier face, whatever the deal is. And that's fair. That's just the way, it's the cycle of life. But, I've had a long run and I'm still going. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, sure, you don't see me on a lot of things anymore, but that's more because of me. I don't really, people like, do you want to do this? Not really.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So why?
Well, no, because now I start to look at things like, is it worth my time?
Right.
And it's not about, thinking that's not worth my time, but it's like I have so much less time now that I'm like, things got to make sense for me. Like this podcast I've been wanting to do for a long time because I've been watching you for a few years now. I started watching you during the pandemic. And I was getting some great financial advice that I could do nothing with, but I was getting some great financial advice. It's nice when a rich guy tells you about how to make money. You're like, all right, motherfucker, we know you're rich already, all right?
You got money as well, man. I mean,
I don't. That's the problem. If I did, I wouldn't be on the tour as hard as I was. I got the IRS is what I got.
Didn't you make like 21 million one year? And you're on the list of top 50.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've
worth
grossed these numbers. You know what I mean? I've grossed these numbers, but it's not like a regular business where if you gross that number, you're going to get something close to that number. Once you gross it in comedy or entertainment or whatever, let's just say this. You get 25, cut it in half. 12.5 gone to the government already, right? Okay, now you got your manager, your agent. They're taking 10 each, but off of
10 each.
10%.
Each?
Yeah. Off of the 25,
now
not
you're
off
at 10 million.
Not off the 25.
7.5 million.
Right, and then you got your accountant who's taking maybe 5%. You're by the time it's done, you're like, I barely cleared $6 million. You know what I mean, it's still a great number, but it's nowhere near what you had in the beginning.
Yeah, but I mean, how many guys make 25 in a year to be able to net 6 million? So, if a great comedian is making 5 million a year. Most of these guys live in New York or they live in California. Now, Rogan obviously created a new revolution where Austin's becoming a comedy town to be in. You're saving your 13.3%, whatever.
Yeah, Joe's the Pied Piper of comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
He is that guy now, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
How long has he been that guy in this space?
Well, listen, I started doing Joe's podcast when it was in his house. It was in his house in Bell Canyon or something like that out there in California. And the room itself was tiny. It was like, it's smaller than if you put a wall here, it'd be smaller than that space. It was like it was just a tiny little box right beside his garage. It would be me, him, and Red Band. It was on Ustream, and I would go do it there. And I did every iteration of his podcast, wherever he moved it to every time. And listen, his overnight success is not overnight, but is he ahead of the game? And is he he's really smart and really intelligent and very well read and open to changes and open to ideas? Yes, he's all of those things. And, they'll paint him to be whatever they want him to be. He's this, he's that. I'm like, I've met people like who don't know him like, oh, he's such a, I go, he's not at all like that. He's this, he's definitely not like that, And when they started calling him racist, I was one of the first people to go defend him.
I remember that.
Because he's just not. You have to be stupid to be a racist, I think. A certain amount of ignorance has to get involved with that.
When's the first time you met Joe?
I met Joe maybe about 15, 16 years ago.
15, 16 years ago, he was just, UFC had been around for a few years, right? His podcast is going.
No, podcast hasn't started yet.
When did Joe start the podcast? So you met him pre-podcast.
He started in 2010, I think.
Got it.
Podcast, and I started doing it in 2010.
Got it.
Yeah.
So pre that. So when you meet all these comedians, all these guys, what made Joe different than everybody else?
Well, I used to box amateur as a kid, and I did a little jiu-jitsu back in the day, and I started doing it back again now. And so Joe and I connected on the combat sports because we're the same guy in that we don't like team sports. He may, I don't know. I don't like team sports at all, so that's just too much for me to watch. I got ADD. Why do you need 15 people to catch one ball? Just like you catch the ball and you chase that guy.
I asked him, I said, do you follow any sports? Nope, no sports, nothing.
Yeah, he's right.
He's just purely. So, okay, so pot started when? Do you remember 2009?
2009, no.
Brian Redband.
Yeah,
and
Redband started it.
Okay, so, but what made him different? What made him different than everybody else? For him to keep continuing to rise, and now it's no longer he's a comedian. It's no longer he's the UFC announcer. It's no longer, it's what does Joe have to say about XYZ? The world wants to know what Joe has to say. Did you see that evolution taking place? Like, did you at the beginning say, this guy's going to blow up and this is what's going to happen with him?
I didn't see any of that coming.
Okay.
I thought it would be, I knew it would be successful because he's a very, very hard worker. He's very diligent. But I think we live in, I talked about this with him on one of his podcasts once, that people are waiting for people to tell them how to think nowadays. People are programmable now, and they're waiting to be programmed by people. And their thoughts and their opinions are being swayed by who's the most believable person to tell me this information. And because Joe's a comic, Joe is also a no bullshit artist. He'll call bullshit on whatever needs to be called on. Mm-hmm. And most people don't do that for fear of whatever backlash they may get. But when you're a comic, you have the freedom of speech. And that's what we're always trying to defend is like, do you like what this person said? No, but that's their right to say it. And that's what we need to maintain, especially in this country. And we're getting to a weird place where you can't say certain things now. And I'm like, how is that fucking helping us?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're from Canada. Now you live in L.A., right? Is that
18 years.
18 years in L.A.
And yeah.
And you bought Robert Kardashian's old house, if I'm not mistaken.
I did.
Right?
It's for sale right now if anybody wants to buy it.
In Encino. Encino. 5.6 million is, I think I saw when you bought it.
When I bought it, yeah.
When you did buy it, did you ever like go in the backyard and you said, look, let me see if I can, because OJ had been there and a lot of...
Well, that's where the chase started.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So did you ever go in there like looking for gloves?
Yeah, but
looking for backpacks and briefcases? And
the guy who sold me the house is the developer. So he bought the original house and tore it down. He said he found some wacky stuff.
Did he? Did he tell you
he
what?
He didn't find any like gloves or backpacks, but he's, there was like rooms that were hidden. You know what I mean? Like a dungeon room kind of
Seriously?
thing. Yeah. He said he goes, I pushed this wall out and it was a fucking dungeon back there. And I was like, really? It was like, yeah.
Robert? Dungeon room?
Hey, man,
Wow.
Who knows what guys are into?
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So what did he say anything else? Like, did he find any other sex?
No,
tapes
he was looking for all that. He was hoping to find all that. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's a lot of stories. You ever seen the video clip of when Robert goes into the house, puts up the stuff in the briefcase, and walks out, and nobody's. You ever seen that clip?
Yeah. He walks in, walks out empty-handed.
Walks in. So what do you have? No, nothing. I'm just grabbing some basic stuff, and because he was Robert, nobody said anything.
And he's a lawyer.
Have you seen this clip, Rob? Can you find this clip? He just walks in. Did you ever meet him? Did you ever?
No. He died. When did he die?
I know he died
a long time ago. He
died a while back, but you've been.
I've met Chloe and Courtney, but I've never met Kim.
You met Chloe and Courtney.
Yeah.
How were they when they saw you? I
they
bet
were
they
very
loved
nice.
You. Yeah.
No, they didn't know who I was.
Get out of here.
No, it's funny because I'm friends with Tristan Thompson.
Okay.
Because he's from my hometown, Brampton, in Canada. And I was at this birthday party, and Chloe and Courtney were there. So I texted Tristan. I go, you and your baby mama okay? He's like, yeah. I go, I'm at a party, and they're here. He goes, go say hi. I said, all right. So I went over. I go, hey, I'm friends with Tristan. She goes, oh, hi, nice to meet you. They were very nice. I can't say anything bad. They were very sweet, very nice. And, I guess that's why they're where they're at, because they know how to play the game. Even if they don't like you, they'll be nice. You know what I mean? That ain't even give me a reason to not like me, but...
They're professionals.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
The way they got up and nowadays.
Well, in all fairness, it's the way Ray J got up.
Yeah, well, he got up. Apparently, he got up pretty big. Is when he got up. Yeah, I mean, some rumors.
It was impressive. It was impressive.
Yeah, some rumors have it that.
I like that you act like you've never seen the video. Fucking pervert. That's the middle name is not Bet. It's pervert. It's pervert Bet David's podcast.
Listen, man. I've had many Indian friends, and they're qualified perverts as well. Just to let you know.
Listen, there's a reason. There's a reason we're the largest population in the world. It's not by accident, guys.
So I went to India once to speak at IIT Institute, the whole in Mumbai.
Okay.
I'm sure you're familiar with IIT.
I'm not.
You're not. IIT is like their MIT, right?
Okay.
And really enjoyed it. Went in there, got the food, stayed at the hotel, walked around, met a bunch of different people, went to the slums, went to that big house that the billionaire built, a $1.4 billion house that goes all the way up, weirdest looking thing.
56-story apartment building.
But it's right next to the slums.
Well, everything's kind of next to the slums over there. So
yeah. So how often do you perform in India nowadays?
I think every 3 years, maybe. When I did it this year was my first time back in 5 years.
What's the reception like?
They're always really great to me. You know, it's funny though because like I'm watching the tide shift now. You know what I mean? It's like the generation that grew up on me still shows up for me, which I really love and appreciate. And the younger generation now, they're like all sensitive. They're all the Gen Z weirdos.
That's what I was asking. Like, is there
so now the young kids be like commenting on my page, like, "How is this funny? All he does is mock people." I'm like, "Shut the fuck up!" Or, you don't do anything for Indians. I go, "Really? Look at all the fucking. I was the first one, motherfucker. You should have been there too. Don't tell me I didn't do anything for my people. I opened a complete industry for them."
What is it like? What is it like when you perform with them, though? I mean, look, you go up there.
India they're so sharp. Like it's one of the countries where I always say I'm always blown away with how I don't change my words, I don't change my pacing and nothing. I just do it the way I do it, and they're with me the whole way. They're not like, "Oh, what did he say? I didn't get that." They're sharp as hell, and there's a reason they're about to be one of the major superpowers in the next 5 years.
Yeah, you saw the whole thing with Tim Cook slowly trying to move the production of the iPhone from China to India. And that's a slow move, and China's not happy about it. I don't know if you can pull up some numbers there, Rob, of what move they've made. It's a big portion. I think a quarter of it right now is being made in India. There you go. The company aims to make 25% of its iPhone production in India by 2025 as it seeks to diversify its supply chain and reduce reliance on China. How much, for somebody that's families, how much has India changed the last 20, 30 years?
I can tell you India's changed in the last 5 years since I was there. And when I went back this March, I was blown away with how different it was.
In what way?
New buildings, more money floating around, nicer cars. I mean, the poverty's still there. Obviously, it's not going away, but the rich have certainly gotten richer. But there's way more millionaires now and billionaires. And so Bombay has changed completely. Bangalore had changed. Delhi has changed. But when I went to Calcutta, where my mom is from, I felt good to. I mean, maybe it's a selfish reason, but I felt good to see that it hadn't changed at all. Because it's kind of like there's all those memories you have from growing up and going there as a kid, and just seeing the sights, sounds, and smells, and it was like, okay, good. India's still India over here.
Do you remember the book that came out years ago? I think it was like Tiger Mother or something like that.
Tiger Mom?
The Battle Hymn of the Tiger Mother. And this girl is explaining about what it was like to have an Asian mom, and people were coming, "I can't believe that's how hard it was. That's not the right way to raise your kids." I want to give you some data and some props to your community because there's a lot of respect there. So the highest earning ethnic group in America.
Indians.
Okay? Yeah. Indians, number one, $119,000 average annual income. Taiwanese, number two. Then it's Chinese, then Japanese, then Pakistani. Filipino, Indonesian, Korean. I'm a little upset with this list because I don't see any Armenian, Assyrian, or Persian. I was waiting for one of them.
No, because credit card fraud's illegal. And
or Armenian insurance fraud. I mean, you got to hit them all up.
There's a lot
right?
of them.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
Listen, I know these guys very well.
Yeah, listen.
I know all the Hovigs and Sarkises and the Jacobs and the and the Hovanes and I know them all.
What is it like being raised in an Indian family? Like, what are some weird things like? You hear stories, whether it's the discipline, you better grow up to be an engineer, you better grow up to do this. What is it like?
So for me, the type of Indian my family is, when Indian people meet me, they go, "What are you? Are you this? Are you that?" I'm like, "How well do you know Indian history?" Like, "Pretty good." And I go, "Do you know about Anglo-Indians?" They go, "Huh?" And I go, "You don't know shit about Indian history then." And we're products of the British being there, my bloodline. And so we're basically half-breeds and the same half-breed kept marrying the same half-breed over and over. Not the same, not related, but,
a little bit of incest going on, but I get it. It's totally fine.
We're not like that. We're like, nah, too close. We'll go try that one.
Arranged marriage is not like, hey,
none of that.
Your cousin is really pretty.
Yeah, no,
that's the one for you.
Yeah, no,
You're not like that, Russell?
None of that. No, none of that. Culturally, growing up, we were more British. even in India. So when I would go to India as a kid, everybody spoke English in my grandmother's house, and everything was kind of normal to me. And then when I'd go outside and I'd meet the regular Indian kids, and I didn't know the difference, but I was like, oh, you guys don't do this? That's weird. Okay, it must be just us. And so Anglo-Indians are like historically, you know, entertainers, cooks, chefs. And then when the British were still in India, we got all the government jobs, police, fire, railway, you know, all that kind of stuff. So we were scattered all over the country. There's no one place for us in India. So growing up, because there's no professionals in my family, there was no pressure to do anything extraordinary. My parents were shooting for mediocrity.
Really? Standards were low. Grow up and be a comedian.
No, not even that. There wasn't even a thought then, but it was just like, just get a regular job with a pension. So
Literally, you're not joking.
No. My mom worked in Kmart. My dad worked in a meatpacking plant.
Well, I mean, first when I came to America, Kmart was a big deal. I mean,
yeah, but my mom didn't work in head office. She worked in the cafeteria.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, got it.
So financial literacy was never something I learned. And hence why, you know, I did dumb things when I got money. Because I had nobody guiding me with that.
What's the dumbest thing you did when you got? Shaq talks about when he got money, he went and bought 3 Rolls Royce or something like that.
Yeah,
What's
I did dumb things like that. Yeah. Not 3, because I didn't have Shaq money. But he needed 3 to glue together so he could have one to fit him. Right? Well, he needed 2, one for each foot.
Well, you remember the first time you met Shaq?
I have. You know what's funny is I could say I'm friends with Shaq, but we've actually never met. But we've spoken on FaceTime a bunch.
Okay, the first time you meet him, I brought him to an event. My kids hadn't met him. My Shaq and my youngest son, they FaceTime.
Right.
He's 10 years old. They hit it off. When I did the interview with Shaq, if you can pull up Shaq and betdavid, the interview, it's that one right there, and just go to the middle of it. Right there, look at the pause right there. So that's me. Mm-hmm. Dylan decides to sit on my lap because Dylan and Shaq hit it off backstage. Shaq says, hey, I want my Dylan to be here. He sits throughout the entire interview. First time my kids see Shaq, I mean, you go like this, you're like,
yeah, he's a mountain.
This cannot be real.
Right.
Size 24 shoes.
I'll tell you a funny story about that. I was on FaceTime with Shaq.
Yeah.
Because one of his best friends, Chicago, was a good friend of mine. So I talking to Shaq, and I go, you know, Shaq, when my dad was alive, he always said that he wanted a pair of your shoes to keep at the front door in case somebody broke into the house. They would see those shoes and leave, right? And we laughed. And then a week later, one of his shoes showed up in my house. He mailed me one. That's the kind of guy he is, though. You know, he's a sweet guy. He's a thoughtful guy, and he pays attention.
Yeah, he is. And he is sweeter behind closed doors than maybe on camera. When you see him, you're like, one of the things that Kobe said about Shaq, he says, the thing about Shaq is not just a big guy that's a pushover. He's a big guy that will fight you. He's got the teddy bear side, but if you cross him, he has no problem fighting. He was one of the funnest guys to watch. Yeah, so going back, you were saying you made the money, you made some of those decisions, your family, you know, the expectation wasn't high, mom worked at Kmart, all this stuff. But people knew you were funny very early on. I mean, you knew, like, I think I read a story like early 90s or mid 90s, something happened where, you know, like, this guy can do something with the comedy. And then later on, your story with George Carlin, and then he invites you back 15 years later. Maybe tell us how the story. Let me clear that up for you.
Yeah, because those were weird strokes.
Yeah.
Okay, started doing stand-up in 89.
Okay.
1992, George Carlin was always my idol, always. Like, George and Eddie Murphy, basically the 2 top guys for me. And so 1992, the Blue Jays win the World Series. Everybody's driving up and down. Joe Carter. Everybody's driving up and down Yonge Street in Toronto.
Yep.
And we're partying, you know, not partying, but like screaming, making noise, honking horns, driving slow. And I'm walking beside my friend's car. That's how slow it was going. And I see this old guy with a white beard and a ponytail walking towards me, and I elbow my friend. I go, ha, that guy looks like George Carlin, thinking I'm being a smartass. And when he walks past me, just to be a smart-ass kid, I go, how you doing, George? And he goes, how you doing, kid? And I was like, what the fuck?
You're joking.
And I was like, what? And I ran after him. And I groveled and walked him back to his hotel. And
you're 22 years old at this time.
Yeah. 22 years old. I'm doing stand-up 3 years at this time.
What's he doing in Toronto?
I said exactly what I said to him. I said, what are you doing in Toronto? He goes, I shouldn't be here. And he never really answered the question, but maybe he went to the game. I don't know. I think he was a big baseball fan, so he might have gone. But I fell out of myself. I couldn't tell him everything about my life enough.
How long did you have with him?
I had maybe like a 8-minute walk with him.
That's plenty. Are you kidding me?
And I was telling him, and he was like, asking for advice, and he was giving me some great advice that really helped me.
What did he say?
He said, get on stage as much as you can.
I read
every day, anywhere you are. If you're at a bar and there's a band playing, they take a break, ask if you could do 5 minutes. Doesn't matter if you kill or bomb. Just go do it. The more you do it, the more you understand it. And killing and bombing are the same thing as far as he's concerned. You kill, you don't learn much. You bomb, you learn a lot. But they both feel like something. You know, so then you cut to 2008. When did he pass? 2008, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So about 10 months before that, yeah, that's right. Yeah, not even 10 months. Maybe about 8 months before he passed away, I got a call from the Comedy Magic Club in Hermosa Beach. And they're like, hey, George is coming in this weekend to run his new set. And we know you're a big fan. Do you want to be on the show? And I'm like, absolutely. And they said, okay, great. You can open for him. I go, who's hosting? And they said, we got somebody. I go, I would love to host because I would love to introduce him. And they said, no problem. They moved it so that I hosted.
Get out of here.
So I introduced him. My eyes started filling up with tears and my chin started quivering. I was like, oh, shit. Am I going to fucking cry in front of George Carlin right now?
Did you or no?
No. I cried in front of Norman Lear, though. It's so weird. I won't cry if you die, but I'll cry if I meet you and I'm excited, all my happy memories come back, you know? I'm dyslexic with my emotions. Somebody dies, I feel bad, but I don't shed a tear. But if something good happens, I'm more likely to cry.
So how was it when you introduced him? What was the experience like?
I told the story about when I met him and blah, blah,
92,
blah. Yeah.
You know.
And then I said, you know, and I even in 92, I said to him, the last thing I said to him was, hey, George, maybe we'll work together one day. And he said, you never know, kid. It's a crazy business. And there we were, 8 months before he passed away.
Later. 8 months later. And who else was at that event?
I don't care. I don't even remember. I just knew that it was me and George that night.
Was that it? Like, was that when in 08, when you hosted, was that where the breakthrough came or not yet?
No, I'd already broken through. That's why I was already...
Are you, like, in 08, what kind of money are you making?
I'm making a few $1 million a year.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I was already doing arenas.
Okay.
I was already doing arenas.
But you were number one in 13, though. You're at the on top of the world in 20.
Yeah, I'd still, I started doing arenas in 2007. And so here we are 17 years later. I'm still doing arenas. So when somebody says, oh, I don't know what he's doing now, I go, fucking 16,000 people still. So maybe I'm doing okay. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, maybe I'm not on your mainstream media, but that they don't like what I say. You know, they're so scared. America's so scared of race that even if you talk about it in... The only people who, like, when I make a joke about, you know, Armenians, Assyrians, or Persians, or whatever, they all like it because they know that it's coming from a place of, I acknowledge you, and I know a little bit about you.
Yeah.
And I'm not giving, like, the dumb broad strokes, you know? I'm giving you the inside throw a little bit of inside details so you know, okay, he gets it. You know, but the powers that be don't understand shit about the rest of the world. They're just so focused on, we got to make sure nobody's feelings are hurt. Well, your feelings are going to get hurt in life, and they should get hurt in life. Otherwise, you're not going to understand pain properly.
When did you see that flip happening, where it was like sensitivity went higher?
It went higher 4
years ago, COVID, or was that prior to that?
I think it definitely started just before COVID. I think what started with the Me Too stuff, and then it just spun out into the other stuff from there. And it's not getting better. It's become more commonplace now, so people don't pay attention to it as much. But it's always there, and it's annoying because it's unrealistic. It's about inclusion, but it's definitely not about inclusion. It's about being exclusively exclusive. You're not including everybody. If I say to you blah 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 about me, and you have to accept that, and you don't, now I have to accept that you don't accept it. That's what inclusion is. We have now included ourselves together. You don't like what I'm saying, I don't like what you're saying, but we've accepted it, which means now it's inclusive. And when you get to the point where, like, oh, you don't agree with me? You're done. Well, then it's not inclusive anymore. You're fucking being exclusive.
You think after the Brady roast, where everything was kind of on the table and
it was great,
right? Do you think that's kind of like bringing it back, or it's not fully back yet?
No, it's bringing it back. And here's the thing: it shows you that people are fed up with bullshit.
Right.
You cannot have this tiny percentage of the population control what the majority is doing. That's just not how society should work. And it doesn't mean that we should negate that tiny percent of the population, but they shouldn't have as much say as they should.
They do, though. I mean, they got a lot to say right now. Did you watch the Olympics opening?
I saw your part about it.
What'd you think about it?
I mean, it's for me, it's funny. I'm an atheist, so for me, it was funny. I'm like, that's good, that's funny. I guess you're taking a shot at that, and it's funny, you know. But I don't understand what the Last Supper thing was about. Yeah. Because it has nothing to do with the Olympics. It has nothing to do with the Olympics. It has nothing to do with eating or anything. It has, you know, it just, I don't understand what it's about.
How old are your kids?
13 and 5.
Are you okay if they see stuff like this? Like, look at the picture to the left. There's something hanging out of his shorts.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, that's nuts.
I don't know what that is. That's nuts. Yeah,
hey, I mean, where did they get the balls to put this on?
That's right, seriously. But do you think as a comic, this is a part that you can give a different angle?
Again, I don't see how any of this has anything to do with the Olympics. Like, and if you look, there's one non-white face there, one black girl. That's it. So what are you trying to tell us? This is supposed to be the whole world, and you're not representing the whole world. You're not even representing part of the world at this point.
Did you?
It didn't outrage me or anything. It just kind of made me go, "Oh, it was a dumb decision."
But as an atheist yourself, you don't believe in God. You're an atheist, right? As an atheist, are you like, yeah, I don't give a shit if my kids see this?
I mean, if they see it and they have questions, it's different. But if they see it, like it's not going to register to them. But that's the problem now, is that they're subliminally putting things out there now so that it becomes normal place to you, and that's fine too. But it's up to you as a parent to steer them to where either where you want them to be or where you think they should be. And again, like, you know, if your kid comes out and says something to you about blah, 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 you have to figure out, well, how am I going to deal with this? Because I'm going to die and this person's going to be left here with these confused emotions and confused feelings. You know, my daughter, she's 13, going to be 14, but she's gone through all of this shit because of the stuff they see on the internet. At 11, she wanted to be a boy. I was like, baby, you're not a boy. You're not even remotely tomboy. You're very girlish.
You're joking.
No. At 11, she says she wanted to be a boy.
Does she live with you?
No, she lives with her mother. But she's with me a lot. But here's the thing.
She lives with Jennifer.
No, that's my son's mother. My daughter lives with her mother. I know. I called you a kuskash, but really it's me.
Don't Google the meaning of it, unless if you're Iranian. Go ahead. Then you don't need to.
So my daughter at 11, because of all the confusion, 10, 11.
Yeah.
All the confusion that they're getting fed on the internet, said she wanted to be a boy. And then
she tells you this.
Tells me this. And then I'm like, you're not, baby. I said, listen, if you were, I would say, yes, I understand. But I know you're not. And I don't know where you're getting this information from, but it's not good for you. I said, right now, you're doing basic math. You should be doing plus and minus. You're trying to do algebra. Wait till you get older. And if that algebra problem's still there, then we'll discuss it then. And then at 12, she says she's gay. No longer wants to be a boy. I'm like, great. This is great. She's gay. I'm good with that. Because the less penises, the better, as far as I'm concerned. And now she says she likes both. So, I think it's coming around where she's going to be straight by the end of it all. But the thing is, there's a stigma attached to being a straight human now. Like there's something wrong with you if you just tend to just drift towards vaginas or penises. You know what I mean? And it's a weird time for that.
Russell, let me ask you. So when she came up to you at 11, she wants to be a boy. Then she likes girls. Then she's bi. Now she's bi. By the end of it, you're thinking she's going to want boys. Mm-hmm. Okay, she's going through it. Are you and the mother on the same page while she's going through this, or are you guys on a different page?
No, we're working together on it. We work together well on it. However, there was things that happened during that time that I was like, why did you let that happen? Why would you encourage that? And I even told my daughter, these are not decisions that can be reversed, so we're not going to do that.
You told the mom, or you told her?
Both of them.
And what did the mom?
She agreed with me on it all. But then, there was a time where I noticed my daughter was wearing a very tight bra, like a binding bra. And I was like, I said, do not let her wear that ever again. because she's just a baby. She doesn't know what she's doing. And let her grow, and if she once cuts them off later, that's fine. But don't fight nature. You cannot fight nature.
Do you lose sleep over this? Does this bother you at all, or not really?
No, because I don't believe it.
You don't believe what?
What's going on? Like with you talking about with my kids or in real life?
No, specifically
with my kids.
With your daughter.
It doesn't really. There's other things that keep me up at night from them, but not that stuff. No.
Really, it does.
Because I know it's not real. I know it's just. It's hyperbole that she's hearing all day from the internet and all these weird. There's so many avenues that kids can get different information from now. Like my son's 5, and he's an amazingly sharp kid. He's very charming. He's very handsome, and he's very, very funny, and he's not shy at all. And but he says things now that I go, where the hell did you hear that? Like we were in New York the other day, literally the other day. I'm taking him through Central Park on one of those bicycle rides, me and him. And there's a horse and buggy coming up. And I go, hey, baby, look, a horse is coming up. And as we pass the horse, my son out of nowhere just goes, fucking sexy. I go, what? Where did you get that from?
5 years old.
5 years old. And I go, you could say sexy, but that other part, we're not saying that now. I mean, eventually you will. You're going to say it a lot, too. You're going to be worse than your father, probably. But right now, we're not saying that word. I don't want to make him feel weird about it and be like, don't do that. Like, where it's one of those things like, ooh, I got a little, I got a little ammo in my pocket and I know how to piss off dad, Yeah. I made it a little bit more like, no, we don't say that one, baby. Just the other half.
So yesterday, my kids are here, my 10-year-old and my 8-year-old, and they're going around. They find this little, what do you call this?
The stress ball?
Not the stress ball, the thing that says things when you squeeze it. Like, remember the staples back in the days, you would press it and it says, stop that, or whatever it is. So this one says bullshit, or whatever it says, right? I come home. I notice my 3-year-old daughter, she comes up to me, I'm hugging her to go to sleep. She says, Daddy, bullshit. I said, what'd you say? She says, bullshit. I said, babe, what? And then Jen's like, babe, she said bullshit. Then I realized she's playing with this thing that says bullshit, right? And some of the stuff that just kind of gets around. But I mean, sexy to a horse at 5 years old. That's interesting. Yeah. But it doesn't at all bother you that they're going through it and the influence of it is where it's not natural and they're just kind of trying to influence them to think this way, that even maybe the mother thinks it's okay to give that bra. That does nothing to you.
No, because I feel like it's my responsibility as a father to... Listen, if that's the real situation for her, then I'm still going to ride with her. I'm still going to help her with this. I'm still going to be her dad. It's not. I even told my daughter when she said that stuff about wanting to be a boy, I said, I'm going to tell you this. You can be whatever you want to be, but don't be an asshole. I'm not going to raise an asshole. You can be whatever you want. You want to be a boy, you want to be a girl, you want to be a fucking monkey. I don't care. Just don't be an asshole. And I'll work with you. And I'll be your dad forever.
How much of this you think it's is your daughter? I'm assuming she's also living in L.A., right? How much of it do you think is the climate of living in California and in L.A.?
Definitely, California is a problem state for sure. I mean, listen, I'm stuck there. I can't go. I can't leave, and I wish I could, but.
You haven't thought about Austin? There's a guy
Austin.
there that does a lot of comedies.
No, see, the funny thing about Austin is I consider it like a open mic city now, because all these young comics that are just new in the game have a place to go and be attached to somebody big, and I don't think it's necessarily great for the business because a lot of people are getting famous off of 1-minute clips, then the headlining, and they don't have the hour that it takes to do the 1 hour. They have like maybe 10 minutes max, and then what do you do?
Yeah. So are you performing 5-6 times a week just to like do what George Carlin told you? You're always working.
You can't. It's like working out. You know.
You have to.
How many times a week if you don't work out?
Are you on the stage?
This week just twice. I'm doing 2 shows. Then next week I've got 8 shows. Next week I'm doing a movie and then 8 shows. And so I mean, it's just, you got to continuously work.
Is it all in L.A. or no?
Yeah, those are in Irvine at the Improv there next weekend.
Yeah, so that makes sense. So California. So you got what? Is it New York? Is now New York one? Then California? Is it California, New York, Austin? Is it those 3?
For comedy, I would say New York is always going to be number 1.
New York's always
because New York always produces the best comics, and that's where I became a better comic, was in New York. There's just so many good comics out there now, and there's a lot of good comics now. There's a lot of really good comics now. There's a lot of really shit ones too that are getting work, which is it sucks for the good comics who don't have the quote unquote following. You know, there's so many really funny guys that I watch and I go, Jesus, I really got to step my game up.
But isn't that going to filter itself out? Like if you're not a good comic, the market's going to filter you out. Yes.
Eventually, but that's a process too. It doesn't happen overnight.
Are there people that have done over 10 years of being in this business with still behind closed doors? Everybody said, that guy's pretty bad at what he does.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of them. And you know who they are. Like when you meet comics, any city I go to, I tend to let the locals go on stage because it's a full house. They don't really get that opportunity very often. And most headliners that come in kind of shut off to everybody. And I never wanted to be that guy. I've always wanted to be like more gracious and welcoming to everybody. So I come to your city, you hit me up, like, yeah, come on, do 5 minutes or whatever. And I'll listen. I won't listen to their act. I'll listen to the audience reaction. And then I'll ask them when they come off. Like it's a quiet out there, and the guy comes on. I go, how was it? Oh, it's great. I'm like, okay, this guy's never going to work. This guy's never going to make it. They're completely delusional and clueless that they fucking ate a dick up there just now.
Yeah. And maybe liked it. Who knows? I mean, nowadays with
I mean, some guys are into
you never know
comedic S&M. I guess
that's right. That's right.
In these uncertain times, if there's anything we need people to believe the future looks bright. So if you've heard about me saying this mission to you, we're on a mission to get 1 million people to wear this gear, and this is what we're doing. If you buy one of these hats, there's a category of buying one hat, getting the second one free. If you haven't yet worn this gear publicly, go ahead and test it out. Buy some of the gear, wear it in public, and see how many people will stop by and say, you also watch Valuetainment? You also follow PBD Podcast? I do too. Place your order. Go to vtmerch.com, click on the link above or below, place your order, and represent the VT and the PBD Podcast gear.
Who did you see? Did you see anybody that was opening for you that was a nobody, and all of a sudden, boom, you're like, holy shit, what was that all about? And they were no name.
Well, Matt Rife used to open for me. And
what year?
2018.
Did he use your model? Because you were one of the first guys on YouTube that you put your special blue
I never put it out there. Just somebody else did.
So it's not even on your own channel.
It's not. No, I have my own channel now.
No, I know, but it wasn't on your own channel.
It wasn't on my own channel.
Wow.
Yeah, I still don't have any idea how to work that social media world.
You still got a couple million subscribers, though.
Yeah, I'm doing okay there. But Matt Rife, listen, this kid, when he was opening for me, he was killing. So I always knew, and look at him. The kid's destined to be a movie star. Look at the guy. He's not. Yeah. I used to, when he'd finish opening for me, I go, give it up for Matt Rife. He's my favorite lesbian comedian. Because he's pretty, you know what I mean? And, but I was watching him, and he was like, I remember he hit me up like, hey, do you think your agency would take a look at me or management? I go, yeah, I call my agent. I'm like, this kid's a home run. He's destined to be a star. Yeah, I think you guys would be wise to sign him. Like, we don't see it. And I go, you serious? And then same with Theo Vaughn. I was like, Theo's also looking for an agent.
Get out of here.
I said, Theo's looking for an agent.
Oh, my
too.
God.
And they're like, nah.
Those are two misses.
And I'm like, and now, my agent came back to me a year ago and was like,
can you introduce him to me?
Next time you offer us somebody, we're taking him. And now guess what? My same agency signed Matt.
Oh, so they finally did.
Yeah.
Who is it? See, who's the agent? Is it?
Who am I with? UTA.
UTA. Got it. And UTA is one of the main ones for comedy, right? Comics are with UTA.
Yeah.
Theo, he's got like a top 5, top 10 podcasts right now.
Yeah.
Theo is, I listen to him, his comedy, I'm like, he's got a little bit of that yogi comedy. He tells the joke 7 seconds later, like, oh my God, that was the funniest thing I heard in my life.
Yeah.
Very different style. By the way, is it true that he's the guy from that video on Jerry Springer? Is that him?
I don't know. I've never heard that.
Have you seen this one or no, Rob?
No.
Go to YouTube, type in Theo Vaughn preaching. Okay? Have you seen this? Oh, I can't wait to see if you've seen it. Okay, the top video. Click on that one.
It's a deep fake, it says.
But watch this. Does that look like a deep fake?
That's a deep fake. It is a deep fake.
This
Brian Monarch. That's what Brian Monarch does. He creates deep fakes.
Let me tell you, I've seen this thing so many times, and I said, there's no way this guy was this boy growing up. And he tells us stories about his uncles. And we just talked about deep fake, like right before going live.
Yeah. That's and it even says deep fake on it.
But there's a, which one is it? What does that say, Rob? No, the one you just showed. Go back. What's the title on that one? You just said it right now.
Does this child preacher understand the words he's yelling from the Oprah Winfrey Show 8 years ago?
So there's no way there's deep fake 8 years ago. Okay, so that doesn't look like Theo.
No,
I got you. I got you.
I mean?
So they put the face on there. I got it. Well, listen, I fell for it because when I've seen this thing, I said to myself, that is hilarious for Theo. When's the first time he opened up for you?
Theo never opened for me. Theo's always been his own animal.
When's the first time you met him?
Oh, shit, I met him years ago. I mean, I've been in LA 18 years, so I guess I don't even remember when I first met him, but, he was always a good guy.
Always a good guy. By the way, do you have a podcast or no?
I had one.
What happened?
I just got bored. I didn't do it the way you're doing it, with the lights and the cameras obviously I had cameras, but I was doing it in my backyard. I was taking the lazy route. You know what I mean? Rogan's the one that told me to start the podcast. And he said, when you do, I'll be a guest. I said, all right. Rogan was never a guest on my podcast. Fucker moved to Austin and couldn't do the damn podcast.
Well, why didn't you, though? Why didn't you continue? Because I see a guy like you, you'd freaking kill it doing podcasts.
No, I think I'll bring it back or come with another idea for it, because that one was just all the weight was on me on that one. And I think I work better when I'm talking to somebody and somebody we can bounce shit off of,
Yeah, dude. This game of podcasts, the numbers came out the other day. I don't know if you saw the article or not.
No.
Wall Street Journal, what's happening with it? The top 10 podcasts, there's 5 million podcasts worldwide.
Yeah, there's too many.
150 million total downloads ever. 500 million total listeners you're competing for.
Yeah.
500 million. The top 10 podcasts, not top 10%. Top 10 podcasts get 35% of the listeners.
Yeah. That's about right.
That's about right.
Are you in the top 10?
If we do 5 days a week, we're in the top 10. If we do 5 days a week. If we do 2 times a week, we're in the top 25. If we do that. But we have to do...
I was doing one a week.
You were doing one a week? Yeah, but part of it is, that's why I go back to the question I ask when I talk to guys. I'm like, you're like, yeah, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. You got to want to do a podcast to keep doing it.
I want to do one that excites me, like one that I would want like how with yours, I can watch clips of it. I don't need to watch the whole thing.
Right.
There's bits that I want to see.
Right.
And then there's bits I don't want to see.
Right.
And it's not personal, just, that doesn't interest me at this time. So,
but it allows the individual to pick and choose what they want to do. Yeah,
exactly.
I thought for sure you would be like, one format that works is finding a co-host, a guy that you just enjoy having a conversation.
Yeah,
with.
that's the thing. I never had a co-host. It was just me.
Listen, I'm sure you got a lot of contacts. I don't know a lot of people who got wedding, which was Cedric the Entertainer the efficient of your...
Cedric married me. I
couldn't believe, and then you had Bruce Buffer introduced. Who does that?
So Bruce was a guest, and then Bruce goes, "Hey, do you want me to introduce you?" And I go, "Well, you're just here as a guest, Bruce. But if you want to do it, I want to ask you to do that."
Do you have the clip, Rob? Can you? Okay, this is. Imagine. Now, listen. I don't know how you got wedding, but how you got married. But this is how Russell gets married. Go ahead.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for. It's
Look at how red his face got.
As they walk down the aisle of love forever. The new Mr. and Mrs. Russell and Ollie
Yeah, so I mean,
I was on the other side of the door listening really intently because I was like, "This sounds so cool."
But yeah, so I mean, listen, when you're Russell Peters,
and then just not to double down, but Now Rogers and Chic was my band.
Rogers and Chic was
Now Rogers.
Now Rogers.
Do you know
and
who
Chic?
Now Rogers is?
No.
Oh, pull up Now's discography.
Now Rogers and Chic.
Yeah. Not now, Nile. Oh. Jesus, guys.
Rob, where'd
you find this guy?
He's a comedian.
Are you?
Yeah, in Florida.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. Now Rogers.
Pull up his top hits, and you'll see, just type in look at this shit. Good Times, Everybody Dance, I'm Coming Out. Do you remember all these songs?
Of course, yeah. I just don't know the name.
Yeah, Le Freak.
Le Freak.
Out.
Yeah.
Those are all him.
So I had Reggie Calloway at my wedding. I don't know if you remember Reggie Calloway.
Reggie, of course. They're
Casanova, or I Want to Be Rich, or
I Want to Be Rich.
I Want to Be Rich.
And then he was part of Midnight Star.
He was part of Midnight Star, yes.
And his brother as well.
That's right. They're
and
from
they
Cincinnati.
The group Calloway.
Yes,
and
Calloway.
He lives in Encino.
He lives in Encino, yeah. And
he trains people in the park. One of them trains martial arts.
Yeah, they were very, very good at what they did.
Yeah.
Did you ever hang out with Jay King or no? Jay King was friends with Reggie Calloway. Club Nouveau.
Oh, Club Nouveau.
Look at all these rooms.
No, I remember Club Nouveau because the original name was Timex Social Club.
Yes, it was. Good for you.
I've been DJing for 40 years.
That's right.
So my musical knowledge is very
good for you. That's right. You were DJing in Toronto. I read that. I saw that. Yeah, Jay King, Why You Treat Me So Bad. They had all these great songs. Yeah, great song. But I met these guys. Reggie introduced me to Jay King. So it's interesting, the wedding. But going back to, the whole podcast thing. I mean, you got a list of 1,000 people you can choose to be a co-host, to do something with you.
Yeah, I know. I want it to be organic, though. You know what I mean? I want it to be like people who I really vibe with.
Yeah.
And who and also you want somebody who's a little bit more opposite than you.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just going to be, I don't want to sit here and agree with somebody.
I agree. No one's going to watch that. Yeah.
So you need that little adversity. You need the person that's going to possibly not give a shit about what they say. It's a lot of variables with that. Like finding a good guy like that, even though he's illiterate. I mean, I think
he takes ESL. He takes ESL at night. We're trying to help him out,
and he's American, which is the worst part.
Yeah,
so.
But I mean, listen, some people learn it later. I always took ESL.
I worry about America when it comes to spelling, grammar. It's horrible now.
Everything is autocorrect.
Yeah, but nobody knows tenses anymore. Like it's like. I ask you to do something. No, you asked me, motherfucker. Don't. It's like the ED is gone. Like for some reason, it's been so associated with erectile dysfunction that they're trying to cut it off of sentences now.
Yeah, literally. That makes sense.
I have a blessed day. A bless? I think you mean blessed.
Yeah.
And don't waste your fucking blessings on me.
Be patient with us. We're eventually going to get it right. Just going to take a minute with us.
You know what happened last time I was here?
What's that?
I was in Miami doing shows. I said, I love coming to the South. They go, this isn't the South. I go, this is the most southern point of America. I go, the only thing south of here is Cuba. I go, I said, if this isn't the South, then where's the South? It's north of here. I go, oh, for fuck's sakes. Never mind.
That is, by the way, your brother is your manager apparently, right?
Yeah.
And 6 years apart, you and your brother. Does he spend a lot of time with Dane Cook's brother or no?
No, my brother. Hopefully he does not. I mean, now I got to go check my brother's drywall. That's a very dense drywall you got there.
Any reason why your last 7 calls have been with with Dane Cook's brother? What's the story here?
In jail?
In jail, yeah. Well, it's a collect call I'm getting here. What a wild story, right?
That is wild.
Brother manages him.
Well, it was his, in all fairness, it was his like brother-in-law.
Well,
it wasn't his blood brother, I don't think, or half brother.
I think it was stepbrother, and the stepbrother's wife,
sister-in-law, right?
Yeah, my brother's my real brother.
Okay, that's good. So listen,
we have
Clayton,
the same 2
respect
parents.
you, buddy.
Yeah.
By the way, just saying, I met Clayton for some. He was just here, nicest guy I just met. But yeah, that's good. That's good that they're not spending a lot of time together.
Yeah, no. My brother spends a lot of time with his wife and kid. I know where he is.
Also lives in L.A.?
No, they live in Canada.
So he lives in Canada. You're in L.A.
I'm in L.A.
How long have you guys been working together?
54 years.
54 years.
That's how old I am. So
that's right. Makes sense. And was it from the beginning? He's like, I'm going to represent you? Or
no, he just always, he was always my big brother. He's 6 years older. I'm 6, he's 12. Kid picks on me, my brother comes out. I'm 12, he's 18. Kid picks on me, my brother comes out.
Was he literally that guy that protected you? Or?
He was, but he never had to fight anybody for it because he was always a big guy. Somebody was scared of him, and he has a very, he knows how to intimidate people. But I was always the finisher. That's the funny thing is, he would start it.
You box.
I box and I do jiu-jitsu. I'm like, I'm the guy, I don't argue well. I'm like, okay, good. You stop talking? All right, let's go, guys. We got to get out of here.
Who were you in high school, by the way? 14 years old.
I was a little kid, lost. I was bullied a lot. Like a lot. Like bullying was really bad.
In what way? Like words or more physically?
Oh, it was all of it. Words, physical.
Why?
It was very racist towards Indian people in Canada back in the day, 70s and 80s. And it's something the kids nowadays don't understand. So when they say they're being bullied, I'm like, cyberbullied? I mean, I get it, but turn it off. My only way around bullying them was to avoid people. Like and I was only white people that I was scared of mostly, you know what I mean? Like if I saw a white man walking towards me down the street and I'm an 8-year-old boy and that's a grown man, 40, 50 years old, I would still cross the street because I don't know what he's going to do. It didn't matter how small or young I was.
How many incidents?
There's so many. There was countless. It was daily. It wasn't like this one thing happened to me and changed me. It was constant.
Like hit,
spit, slapped, punched, thrown in garbage cans, called names, all of it. It was all there. But at the same time, it never traumatized me in a way that I hated people.
Yeah, I don't feel any resentment from you at all.
No, because even at that age, I understood I knew there was there's something was missing here. You're not catching something here.
Who's that? You, your brother, and your mom?
Yeah. There's a picture before that where I'm smiling, and that one, my parents told me not to make that stupid face, so that's why I'm making that face in that one. And let me see if I have it. I have it on my phone.
Wow.
It's so funny because I look at that one and I go, oh, yeah, I remember that. I got yelled at for making a face. I think I went like, and then like, don't make stupid face. And I was like, right, fine.
Zero resentment in you.
None. Look, this is my face before that picture was taken.
So that's crazy. So you didn't post that one, though?
No. Can you zoom in on that?
Rob, can you airdrop it? Airdrop it. If you airdrop it, Rob will pick it up.
And turn it to all. Rob, you know how to work an iPhone? Mm-hmm. Do you know how to spell iPhone? Robert's MacBook Pro?
Yep.
There we go. Got it?
Yep.
Yes, that's the after picture. And then I sent you the before, where I was happy that I got to make my own face.
How old are you here? 7?
No,
8?
maybe 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm about 5 there.
Ah.
That was the before picture. Don't make that stupid face. What's my face?
Your parents still together?
They would have been if my dad didn't die. But
when did he?
20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Yeah, but he'd be 99 now. So let's be honest, he wouldn't be here anyway. I mean,
so natural. It was
cancer, but
okay.
And he was only 78 when it happened. So otherwise, he was healthy as a hog before.
Sudden? Was it a sudden story?
It was like 2 years and it was done. 2-3 years max, and it was full deterioration.
What's the age difference, mom and dad?
16 years.
16 years.
My dad was a year younger than my grandmother.
Your dad was a year younger than
my
your mom's mom.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
My family's very interesting in that, my mom's side is, if you were to compare it to something, they'd almost be brown trash. You know what I mean?
Mom's side.
Mom's side, grandma got pregnant at 14 or 15.
But that's normal back then.
No, they weren't married yet.
But I mean, you're talking about 80 years ago, right?
Yeah, but still, it was kind of like, whoa, what's going on there, Nana? And then they had they had my uncle, and then she got pregnant right away with my mom. And so my mom and her brother were 10 months apart.
Wow.
And then there's another uncle. They're all dead now, but
how many total uncles you got?
No,
uncles and aunts.
Oh, I don't remember. They're all gone now. I don't think I got any left.
Big family or no?
I guess it was not a huge family, but when we'd get together, it would look like a big family because the whoever married who, then their side would come, and you know what I mean. So it'd be like a big thing.
But no ancestry. No
incest. No, we're not those
disciplined.
People. Yeah. I don't think it takes discipline to not fuck your family. I mean, maybe in Iran. I don't know what you guys do over there, but
you ever performed in West Virginia or no? I mean, there's some places that.
Have I been to West Virginia? What's a big city in West Virginia? I've seen a lot of videos about West Virginia that have frightened me.
There's a song
Have you seen that documentary, The Whites of West Virginia? You saw it, Rob?
Yes. It's about a family that has practiced inbreeding, right? Years, decades.
But their last name is White. It's not. That's why it's called
and
The Whites.
How did it work? Did it work out? Or
what? No, they're fucking mental.
Seriously.
Dude, the girl gives birth. We don't know who the father is in this, but she goes to the hospital, has a baby, and right as soon as she's had the baby, her sister comes in, and she's like, oh my God, congrats, here, and does a line of coke with her. I'm like, what are you doing? It was either coke or meth, whatever it was, but it was wild. Yeah, the wild and wonderful Whites of West Virginia. And then you got the that soft underbelly. You follow that on YouTube.
Mm-mm.
He's got that other family. The what are they called?
So you got Charleston,
No, keep
Morgantown, Wheeling.
They're I think they're Appalachian. No, they're from Virginia too, and they're all inbred as well.
Virginia or West Virginia?
West Virginia.
Yeah.
Keep going down. You'll see. You'll know. I'll know as soon as I see it. They're a family. I forgot what they're called, but one of them talks like this. He can't speak. He just goes.
The Whitakers.
The Whitakers. That's it. Yeah.
The Whitakers.
Yeah. It's wild watching them, and you feel bad.
I went to West Virginia when I was in the Army. And then
to defend it?
Well, we went to this
That's the real family. They're all inbred.
I mean, they look normal.
Yeah.
You don't think?
For a horror movie.
42 million views.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Listen, when you pass an accident, you don't not look.
I mean, that's pretty bad, though.
People stare at disasters.
That is pretty bad. Yeah, when we went to West Virginia, there was a Greyhound, like a racetrack.
He's drooling in that photo.
I see the...
That's not for effect.
Yeah, well, this is why I've only been to West Virginia one time.
Yeah,
You know,
maybe that's why I've never been. I think,
well, but on your tour, it said you're performing next week, though, West Virginia, 3 stops. Don't you, like in Charleston?
I'm killing. Charleston's in West Virginia?
I thought I saw. I said the cities. Yeah, West Virginia has a city called Charleston. 49,000 people live there.
Wow.
That's West Virginia for you.
In West Virginia, when they get divorced, they're still related. That's the ironic. I did hear a story about this family in West Virginia where the brother walks in on his sister and she's masturbating with a carrot. And he looks at it and goes, "Hey, that's disgusting. I was going to eat that later. And now it's going to taste like carrot."
That is too funny. That is too funny.
I like that Patrick didn't want to laugh at that.
No,
I'm
I
still
got this.
processing it.
I told you, like, that's the thing with Theo sometimes. I listen to him like, okay, it's catching up. Ha, ha, ha. I just got it. So,
hey, what did you do in the Army?
I was a Hummer mechanic. That's what happens when you score 31 on your ASVAB. You don't become,
You didn't
military
get to go to battle or
intelligence.
nothing?
No, when I was in, it was just Kosovo, Bosnia, and the Honduras flooding. That's the only thing that was going on when I was in. 97 or 99 when I was in. And then I got out last minute. I lived in Iran when the war happened between Iran and Iraq. I was there for 10 years, but not when I was in the Army.
That's you with the shaved head?
Yes, me and the shaved head.
Wow.
We're in an Ohio State sweater because I liked Eddie George, the running back.
Where did you guys move to when you moved to America?
Glendale, California. I mean, where
Of
else
course
am I
you went to
gonna-
Glendale.
have
Of course you
to.
did. Why
Yeah,
wouldn't
for
you go to
somebody
Glendale?
that knows this stuff.
Yeah,
you
I
know.
was assuming Glendale, but I just wanted to make sure. I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt because I saw Ohio there. I'm like,
No.
maybe-
I went to Glendale, California. Lived there for 6 years. Went to high school to Glendale, and then I joined the Army. Then I got out, and then I moved to Granada Hills, and then I lived in Granada Hills for a few years, and then moved to Northridge, to Woodland Hills, to Chatsworth. To not Canoga Park, but what is that place? I think it is Chatsworth. And I moved to Dallas. Lived in Dallas 5 years, Plano, and I came down here 3.5 years ago. Fort Lauderdale.
Plano's blowing up now.
Plano is blowing up.
That's
Yeah.
where the headquarters is for the Dallas Cowboys, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where last year I went to Raekwon from Wu-Tang Clan's wedding, and it was in Plano.
Are you a hip hop guy?
I'm very much hip hop.
Who do you like in hip hop?
I mean, I'm about the whole culture more than any one particular musical aspect of it. Like as far as DJing, breakdancing, graffiti, and all that stuff, I love all
Like
of it.
Beat Street, Day One, like
Beat Street.
coming up.
I'm part of Rocksteady crew. I'm an official member now.
Really?
Yeah. Crazy Legs made me an official Rocksteady crew member in December
That
last
is
year.
cool.
So I'm
That's I never got the invite. You know, you have to
he
be
did it at
special
my
to
house.
get
He
it.
just brought me a sweatshirt. He goes, "Hey, you're official." I was
That's
like,
cool.
All right. So
That is cool. But hip hop, like, are you a East
there's-
Coast hip hop? Are you West
East Coast,
Coast? Are you
all
you're
day.
East Coast?
all day, all day.
So Biggie at the top
Biggie's
for
my
you.
number one, absolutely.
Who's your top 5?
It would be Biggie, Big Al, a lot of bigs in this. Big Daddy Kane,
Yeah.
AG from Showbiz and AG, and Chino XL, who just passed away 2 days ago, was one of my favorite guys to listen to. But there's a lot more than that.
Did Chino XL really die 2 days ago?
Yeah, he passed away 2 days.
Chino XL was in Hit 'Em Up.
Well, Tupac took a lame shot at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Chino was a beast on the mic.
Really?
Yeah, like the things Chino said were so amazing. You're just like, wow, how did you, like even in this new song he's got on Rock Hymns album, you're gonna need, I'm gonna battle, but I'm gonna call the paramedics. I say paramedics because you're gonna need at least 2. You know what I mean? Like he would always break words down and just say the most foul shit. And he'd watch the news and write rhymes. And I was like, that's amazing.
You
like,
spent time with him to see how he was?
No, I never saw his process, but we were friends. You know what I mean?
What do you think about Tupac? Because you
No, I was never.
You almost sound like you don't like the guy.
I was never a fan.
You were never a fan.
Never.
Why not? Because of like
musically,
right?
I know. I just never liked his music.
How do you not like the guy's music?
It wasn't good to me.
You're saying Tupac's music wasn't good to you?
To me, I didn't get it. It didn't make sense to me. And
Why
I
is
didn't
that?
like his voice, and I didn't like his cadence. I liked him as an actor. I liked him as an iconic figure. I liked him as an activist. But as a rapper, it didn't do nothing for me.
Who'd you like from West Coast? Or is it just you like nobody from the West Coast?
No, I like some people from the West
Like who?
Coast. Snoop has always been good. The Alcoholics. Who else? Exhibit. They're all. If you look at it, it's kind of all down with Dre's camp. But
I remember when Exhibit first came out with Paparazzi. Remember
That was a great
Paparazzi
song,
when
yeah.
it came out? I mean, I probably played Paparazzi nonstop. Oh, it's a shame.
That was LA Times, so I'm doing LA Times.
It's a shame. Rap game only for the money and the frame extra. It was a great song. I mean, it was phenomenal. So a lot of East Coast for you. Are you an R&B guy as well, or no? Mainly hip hop.
Yeah, no, I know. The funny thing is, I'm known for hip hop. Like, there's a documentary series on Netflix called Hip Hop Evolution. I don't know if you ever saw it. You saw it? I executive produced that. That's my show. I did that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's my show.
I did not know that.
Yeah, we won an Emmy and a Peabody for that.
I saw the Emmy, and was it the international Emmy or no? That's a different one, right? That you won.
I think it was the international. No, it might have been the Peabody for that. Whatever. I don't know. I got one award for each.
Yeah, you won a Peabody, and you have an international Emmy as well, right there. Yeah, international Emmy. Yeah, that's right. That's the same one then. International Emmy Award for Best Arts Programming. Yeah, but hip hop evolution, not a lot of R&B, or also R&B.
No, I love R&B. I love all music. You know what I listen to 90% of the time when I'm alone? Classic rock. I'm listening to yacht rock most of the time. Like, and my wife gets mad because she loves R&B.
Like
put on
90s
something
R&B or any R&B?
All R&B. I like. I stop around early 2000s. I stopped.
I stopped 03. My hip hop stops in 03. I know nothing about hip hop.
I think that's
03.
a fair assessment. I think I'm about the same as you.
I'm
there.
03. You tell me R&B with As Yet, with Jagged Edge, with
all the good
Aaron
R&B.
Hall, with Uncle Sam, all these guys, even some of the guys that people don't know about, I can hang. After 03, say anything. I know nothing.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I don't like the auto-tune stuff because anybody can sound like a singer now.
Yeah.
And that doesn't show me you got talent. And we're from the non-copycat era. They're like, oh, you're doing this? Okay, I'm going to do this then. Now it's like, oh, you're doing this? Oh, I'm going to do that too. And you go to YouTube and you see just copycat after copycat. And it doesn't just music. Everything is, this generation does not have again, like I said, they're waiting to be programmed to tell what to do.
Let me ask you, did you watch Kanye's documentary?
I think I did.
You didn't say Jay-Z or Kanye. What do you think about Kanye and Jay-Z?
No. Not for me.
Neither.
Well, I'd take Jay over Kanye. I don't play any Kanye music, and
You never have.
no, I mean, I might have played some of the records he produced back in the day, like he did that some good records with Dwelle and Slum Village and stuff. But that's when he was just a producer.
Were you a Diddy guy or no?
Let's rephrase that question.
Well, I mean, did you ever shoot any videos with him or go to his Miami
No, I've been
house?
to his house.
Yeah.
I went to the house that got raided.
The one in
because
Miami?
No, the one in
LA?
Brentwood.
Yeah.
So that's because we were shooting it for Hip Hop Evolution. And I was there for about an hour and a half, 2 hours waiting. Me and the whole crew were just waiting. And we could hear him upstairs. And I'm like, I'm out of here, guys. You guys do the interview. This guy's taking too fucking long. So I left. I didn't even meet him in the house. I left. I was like, this is taking too long.
Have you ever met him before or no?
I met him in 97
Okay,
in Atlantic
that's
City.
The peak. That's the
It was
war.
after Biggie had died already.
Right.
And I met him at a fight in Atlantic City. Lennox Lewis, we grew up together. We were both amateurs at the same time. And so Lennox I've known for 40 years. And I was at one of Lennox's fights
shit.
in Atlantic City, and Puffy was ringside. I was ringside, and I took a picture with him. And then Donald Trump was right there because it was at the Trump casino there. And then right after I took the photo with him, Donald Trump goes, takes a photo with Puffy, and he's like, looks at the camera, and, send me that photo. And I was just like, wow. That's that rich. I didn't know. I was like, that's that rich guy that owns this place. That's all I looked at him as. You know what I mean?
Have you had any other interactions with him or no?
With Trump?
Yeah.
No, never met him.
What do you think about the guy?
I mean,
both as a Canadian and as an American.
I think I understand how he's managed to, for lack of a better term, dupe the public. But I mean, you know, just that's the world we live in now. People are waiting to be programmed to be told how to think.
Who's a better duper, him or Biden?
I mean, Biden doesn't even know he's duping.
You're the GOAT.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's when you know you've made it.
Yeah, I mean...
The ultimate duper, I guess.
I mean, listen, we're in bad shape. How about that, okay? We're in a country without any leadership, and it's not looking good on the horizon.
Now, you said something. You said I'm Canadian, so you're not going to vote anyway. So
I can't vote.
Right.
So that's why my opinion is moot and irrelevant. And if somebody wants to say fuck him, it's fair because... I have no stake in this game. I'm the guy who has to just go along with whatever you guys are doing. So who I would think is best for the country is irrelevant. It doesn't matter what I think.
Let me ask a question just out of curiosity. Do you intentionally avoid the conversation of politics because
I'm ignorant to it.
But there's nothing about you that gives me ignorant vibes. But are you ignorant to it because it's a position of, look, man, I don't know what you're talking about. And then you may have some strong opinions behind closed doors. Or is it, no, I just don't want to talk about it?
No, I don't. I've never been a political guy. I don't get it. And there's people that study it and really know the ins and outs of it. And for me to have any conversation about it, I could be shut down with one argument. Like, I mean, you could pull up one point and I'll be done. You know what I mean? It's like some guy who's never boxed wants to get in the ring with me. I'm like, all right, well... or wants to do jiu-jitsu with me. I'm like, it's not going to be fair.
You know how it started for me? For me, the way it started, I hate politics because my parents got a divorce because of politics. One's a communist, one's an imperialist. And I'm like, there was nothing positive to me about politics as a kid.
That's how I feel about religion.
Okay, cool. And by the way, I was an atheist for the first 25 years of my life.
You should be.
I was an atheist.
You're born that way.
Yeah, but the point being, like, I get what you're saying. Trust me, I know all the arguments because I used to go debate Scientologists in L.A. I used to go to LDS and debate the Mormons, and I used to go to 7 Day, and I used to go do all these guys. Anyways, I don't want to go I want to stay on the political side. And then I brought the political side to the most basic thing for me. So, for example, you said you make $25 million, they take 50% off taxes. Then your agent and your manager take 10 points on the $25 million. So that's $5 million, right? So now you're at $17.5 million.
No,
that's been taken off.
Yeah.
So then you got 5% goes to your CFO, your accountant, whatever the that's $1,250,000. You're left with $6.25 million.
Yeah.
So versus for me, I sat there and I'm like, okay, who can do more with the 50%, the $12.5 million I went to the government? Can you do more with the $12.5 million or the government?
Well, I think I could do more for me.
That's the point.
You know what I mean?
But even with you, and then what happens if you do more for you? Do you do more for
others?
Others.
I do.
Yeah. But I think naturally you're going to do that.
Yeah.
Naturally. So that's the most basic part of politics for me. Mm-hmm. The most basic part of politics for me started off with economy, where it's kind of like, so let me get this straight. You want to take how much money from Elon? So would I rather have Elon get $50 billion or the government get $50 billion? You just gave that guy in Ukraine $200 billion. Is Ukraine going to do better with the money than Elon is? Give that $200 billion to this guy. Why are you? It was so basic mathematically. And then the social stuff, like right now when I'm talking to you, say my 11-year-old daughter comes telling me I want to be a boy. Yeah, no, right? And then, you know what? I don't like boys. I'm a lesbian. Oh, that's great, right? Less dick is better, whatever you say. Okay. And it's like, oh, now I like both. Okay, the way you're going, you're eventually going to like this. Now, maybe me as a conservative, when it comes down to the way I want to raise my kids, I may sit there and say, okay, cool. We're not the same in that area. But I also understand I don't want to live in California because I think a lot of the influence is coming from the schools in California. Mm-hmm. You're okay being there. I lived there 24 years.
I'm not okay. I'm stuck there.
I know, and you kind of have to because you're in the space, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so even just your answer right now reveals a little bit that you're not fully supportive of it. But
I'm definitely not.
But because you're in that world, you are a comedian. You know, California. I had Ice Cube here what is it, a month ago or something like that? I said, so are you really going to live and die in L.A.? And he says, yeah. I'm West Side. I'm West Coast. I'm California. I am California. He's right.
Yeah,
you think Ice Cube? Are you like? Can you imagine Ice Cube moving to Texas?
Yeah,
I would sit there and say, "What are you doing moving to Texas?"
I mean, Ice-T moved back to New Jersey.
Yeah,
but Ice-T's originally from New Jersey, so
that one. And by the way, Ice-T is also very much political in his own way. He'll talk politics in a big way. But going back to it, you know, when I think economy, I think purely that. And then I go to which side wants to take more money away from you and give it to Zelensky. Whoever wants to do that more, I don't want to be part of that side.
But, I mean, that's also, again, you're playing the game of wolf in sheep's clothing. This one's going to sell you, this guy's going to tell you, we're going to do this, but he's not really going to do this. Nobody's going to do anything. You know what I mean?
Well, no.
Everybody comes in with these great
No, I get
points,
that. But if there's one thing that you and I know for a fact.
Like I'll tell you this about Trump. Yeah. One of the reasons that he irritated me, and I have friends who love him to death, and and I will never talk politics with them because I don't have any strong points, and their feelings are based on whatever they're based on. I can't hold it against anybody, and I think the minute you do that, you're going to lose the battle yourself.
No question. Yeah.
And but what he did do, because he had a hard-on for California when he was president, he took away certain things from California that were really helping me. You used to be able to write off your 100% of your interest on your mortgage.
Right.
Got rid of that. Now you're fucked again. I mean, you're just like, he's like taking like.
For a guy that's in real estate, by the way. So that was kind of surprising to the real estate industry.
Because he was mad at them.
Right.
And I don't think as the leader of a country, you can't be mad at any parts of your country.
But, however, to flip on that, let me tell you what did happen, right? For even anybody that's in the world of business, capital gains he took from 39 to 20. I mean, are you kidding? You know how much that was? So you capital gains from 39 to 20, you making $100 million. Now you're keeping 80 million of it versus you used to only keep 60 million of it.
No, that's great.
That is massive.
You know they have that mansion tax in California now?
I know, and you got gas tax. How much gas tax you guys got?
Gas tax. I haven't been home in 2 months, but last I was there, like gas was $6.50.
It's a little ridiculous what the Newsom guy's doing.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Okay, so how do you feel about Elon Musk? What do you think about Musk?
I think Elon Musk is a fucking genius. He's a dreamer who knows how to make things happen. He's definitely high on the autism scale, but in a good way. Does he do goofy things? Yeah, but everybody's going to do something stupid at some point or considered goofy or whatever you're going to call it. Nobody's going to live this model life that we're expecting people to live. Everybody has a side of them that's going to be disagreeable with.
But the way I would think about it with him.
He's never driven by money.
No, he's not. I agree.
There's no amount of money that could drive that man.
Do you think Rogan's driven by money?
No, not at all.
I agree. So watch this. Do you think both of them 10 years ago were probably on the left, liberals?
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Rogan was Bernie Sanders. Rogan was a legalized
Rogan's
marijuana.
not right either.
No, I never said he's right.
Yeah, he's right in the middle.
He's for sure not right. I'll tell you that he's for sure not right. But here's how I process it. You know, when a person comes and interviews for a job, okay, or you date somebody, you've had girlfriends, right? When you date somebody, right? And if a girl you're on a date with, you guys are getting serious, if she trashes her previous 3 boyfriends, you're going to be the 4th, right? If a friend of yours says, dude, fucking my boss is the worst I've ever had, piece of shit guy, really? You said that about the other guy in the mortgage company. You got to figure out when the common denominator is you. Right.
Like I know, I look at all my past relationships, and I look at how they all started and how they all ended.
Some of them us, some of them them.
I would tend to say it was 99% me who caused them to become this way, because they didn't start off that way. They somehow they ended up that way. And I guess that I enabled that behavior and probably drove them towards that behavior.
But let me tell you, man, most guys can't say what you just said. That's not an easy thing
I have
to say.
no problem admitting when I'm wrong.
But that's why you're likable, bro. This is like the part why there is nothing to not like about you. You're the guy that everybody likes because...
Not online. People can't stand me.
Well, maybe some of the...
People comment, fuck this guy. I hate this guy. I can't stand
I don't know,
this
bro.
guy.
Even right now, like people want to see you, hear you, all this stuff. But no, I'm going more from the standpoint for me when it comes down to the example I give about the 3 X's. Or the three, these jobs suck and it's all the same. Dude, how does Newsom lose Rogan and Musk? How do you lose those guys?
Well, Newsom's terrible.
Yeah, how do you lose? And then how do you...
You know, a great drinking game is when you watch a Newsom speech and every time he says, you take a shot, you'll be fucking hammered within 3 minutes.
So it's actually a pretty good drinking game.
Yeah.
If you want.
That's what I always say that whenever he's talking, and so, I'm like,
he's so good, though.
I get it. You're a good-looking guy, but that's it. This isn't a movie. This is real life.
So, that's the part
And he's Nancy's nephew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Relation. Obviously, there's no nepotism going on. There's no favor.
And he's part of the Getty family, right?
Don't jump to conclusion just because this is a very intellectual Californian that he's loved by the people of California.
No, he's definitely not.
You know this guy lost $1 trillion of money under management that left the state of California last 4 years.
Yeah, and he's done nothing to make people want to come back or stay. He's making it worse.
But that goes back to the idea of when you're saying Trump versus, Kamala or any of this stuff. To me, it goes basics to economy. You lost 2 people due to economy. And Elon Musk, he says, I got a vengeance to get back to these guys. Because what did he say about his losing his son? What was he said he's dead to me. What's the word? Dead something?
Well, he said that his son, the woke mind virus, had killed his son, and he was setting out to destroy the woke mind virus.
And he's talking about California Newsom. So I mean, some of these policies you go back and forth and you look at it. Like, listen, man, I don't care whether you're faking because you want to get a lot of eyeballs, or you're entertaining, you're doing this, you're doing that. When it comes down to the most basic thing, I feel you're going to do more with money than the government's going to do. Some people feel they're going to do more with your money than you're going to do. I feel you know what's best for your family, and we should put more of the money in your pocket. I think it's that basic for me.
For me, I think that would be great too, And there's a reason a lot of people are getting out of America in general. They're going to Puerto Rico. They're going to the UAE.
Puerto Rico is somewhat America, though.
I know, but you got that 4% over there.
Yeah, 420,
right?
the tax thing, 4%.
And all you have to do is make a $10,000 investment on the island.
But the question is, what kind of comedy do they have in Puerto Rico? And do you want to go through Hurricane Jose every year?
I'm good with Hurricane Jose.
All right, then let's start a comedy club in Puerto Rico.
It's not the first Hispanic to blow me.
See, that's the gift. That's the gift that just comes like this.
That don't come like that. You got to suck on it for a little bit. But
that's again another one for you. That's 2. By the way, so what do you think about the JT of Canada, Justin Trudeau? What do you think about the guy? Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm not there enough to even understand what's happening. All I just keep hearing is everybody's voices saying, "Fuck this guy. He's terrible. Get rid of him." And I don't know. I mean, I just know him as a guy. I just know him to be Justin, he's born on Christmas. Wow. Who would have known Castro's kid was born on Christmas?
Have you ever seen the pictures?
I've seen the pictures.
Oh, my God.
He doesn't look like his dad, that's for sure.
No.
And I know what his dad looked like.
Are you speculating or...
I mean, I'm just...
stating facts?
I'm just stating what I've heard over the internet.
Wow. I mean, it's just too much.
Wow.
Look at the tip of the nose.
Not even that. The eyes, the way they hit the same way on especially the left eye. That is pretty wild.
But somebody could say they don't.
Maybe that's why he doesn't grow a beard.
Case study. We'll give you $1 million to grow a beard for 90 days, and then let's put it next to each other. See what happens. Yeah, Canada also goes through the same thing with politically. They got a guy right now. Are you following this new guy named Pierre Polier or whatever?
No, I don't. I literally don't know what's going on in Canada
at all. So you're fully disconnected.
Yeah, I've never been connected to the politics there.
Have you ever? Are you still connected to the sports of Canada? Do you follow any?
I just watch boxing and MMA. So
that's
if it's
right.
not a combat sport, I will not watch it.
Boxing and MMA.
Yeah.
Who's your MMA guy? Who do you like in MMA?
I mean, there's so many guys in the sport right now that are exciting.
Is there somebody that's like for you last 20 years? Like I can watch.
John Jones is always going to be the number one guy. It's always been exciting. It's funny. I just met I met him a couple of times, but when I saw him in February, I was in Saudi Arabia at this MMA event, and John Jones was there. And I never realized how fucking big he is. He's a big dude, and his hands are massive. And he sees me, and I'm thinking he recognizes me from meeting me before or from comedy. And he's like, oh, what's up? Hey, yo, you still got it? And I was like, oh, how does he know I boxed?
Get out
so
of here.
So he's throwing his hands up, and I'm like, pop, 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 right? And then he's like, come on, Prince, you still got it. I'm like, Prince, wait. He thought I was Prince Nassim.
Oh, my God. By the way, Prince Nassim doesn't even look like him.
No, well, that's why he thought I was him.
Wow. Well, listen, I don't know if that's...
And I was like, John, I'm first of all like 8 inches taller than Prince Nassim, and I'm not as big. He goes, come on, he hit my belly. I go, what are you talking about?
This is how long ago?
February.
Oh, wow. I mean, listen, this guy was an entertainer.
Oh,
but
yeah, he changed the game, buddy.
Yeah, he totally did. And it's night and day when you see what he looks like versus where he was before.
Well, it's not so much night and day as it is before and after.
That's
but in the
point.
reverse.
Scientific, right? It's a little scientific there. Yeah, I like when Dana...
you know what's ironic about this is that he just called me like 2 days ago.
Who's this? Him.
Prince Nassim, but I missed his call.
So you guys
call
are
you
friends.
back,
So you have a friendship. You guys,
yeah.
How is he when you talk to him?
He's a little nutty, but he's a good guy. Like it's funny because I was at this thing with Lennox in England maybe 6 years ago. Lennox was doing this, talking about his career and stuff. And because we grew up together, he asked me to come and moderate it for him. So we're there in England, and Nassim's there, and I made a joke about Nassim. And then after he comes back, he's like, Russell, I'm gonna fucking knock you out. And he's getting a little aggressive. I'm like, calm down, Nas. Jesus Christ, bro. Come on. Don't get fucking mouthy, mate. And I'm like, just calm down, Nas. You know what I'm doing. And Klitschko was there that night, too. I have a good picture of me standing in between Lennox and Klitschko, and it's like...
Gigantic.
Yeah, it's like the Twin Towers.
Gigantic, these guys.
Yeah.
Russell, I'm listening to you. You know what I'm thinking about when I'm listening to you?
What?
I've thought about 100 guests for you to have on your podcast.
Oh, tons.
No, I'm literally...
Are you producing this for me?
No, you can go in and knock on the door anywhere. You can do it. You got the money to do it. And all I'm saying is I'm thinking of 100 guests you can have on the podcast to interview them in such a unique angle from your background that could be so interesting for the audience to see.
Well, that's what I'd like to do.
I think you ought to... I don't know. I think you could be a top 10 guy competing, like literally.
There's a guy named Destroy. D-S-T-R-O-Y. He's a good friend of mine.
Is that like a porn star?
No. He used to be a rapper.
It's a porn name. It's just,
that's him right
there.
there.
Got it.
And he does interviews now with people, and he's fucking amazing at it. He really freaks people out with his interviews. They all enjoy it. And there's another guy named George Strombolopoulos who's from Canada. He's an amazing interviewer. He's one of the best I've ever had. But these two guys, like, they both approached it from such a different angle. Like, George makes you open up like that because he's just so smart.
So what needs to happen for you to start a podcast?
We need money.
Really? That's it?
Yeah, I mean, money to me.
No, but that's all it's going to take for you to do.
Yeah, if the right money's there and it creates the interest, and I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do this.
What is the right money?
I don't know. We don't want to talk about that on the air. I mean, a couple of million would be a great start.
Okay, so what's going to take for you to go?
Yeah.
I just think you would. I think you would crush. I literally think you would crush. I think you would do very well. And I think. When you
I think with the right setting, the right scenario, the right co-host, everything, obviously, the right guy running your clips and all that. These are all. There's a lot of variables involved, right? I mean, it's you. Ultimately, it's you.
You're overthinking it. By the way, and Rob, like Rob didn't even come here for this. Rob came here, and then all of a sudden we're like, holy shit, Rob is phenomenal at what he does. But before there was a Rob, there was Rob. How long you been out that chair?
About 2 years.
Who's ever been there for 2 years?
Vinny Oshana.
No, not on that chair, but for 2 years, right? And then now he does the podcast with Unusual Suspects, and they do different things. And
Unusual Suspects?
It's another podcast that we have that we started. We got like 50,000 something subs right now. Unusual Suspects, and they talk about a bunch of shit.
Where do they shoot it, in here?
No, they shoot it at the comedy club, at the cigar lounge on the other side. Yeah.
See, I'd like to do that where I'm smoking because I smoke cigars.
Bro, but you got local cigar lounges that would allow you to come in and shoot. I'm telling you, Russell.
California. You don't.
But what I'm saying, Russell, with you, okay, comedy. If you not comedy, podcast hosts. If you look at right now, the top podcast topics, 25% of the 5 million podcasts, the subject matter is true crime, 24%.
Right.
Next is politics and government, which that's not you. Next is self-help, business motivation. And then it's, I don't know what it was, history, all this other stuff. Do you know what's only 2% of it? Comedy.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Comedians are doing podcasts without, we're trying to show our other side is what it is. And, I mean, like, okay, look at Bert and Tom.
Yeah.
Theirs is hilarious.
Yeah.
But those that's the kind of energy I need with somebody. You know what I mean? Tom and Bert are like best friends.
Dude, you got a list of 100 people that would love to be your co-host, bro. And you're living in LA. That's like freaking talent country. Pick and choose. You would kill.
And we would be great. But I mean, I you know, if I would need somebody to throw the ideas at me for the co-host, because you know, in your brain you stop at certain people. You go, nah, not
okay,
that.
Can you do me a favor? If you're watching this, do me a favor. Go to my Twitter account and do the following. My handle is at Patrick betdavid. And Russell, what's your Twitter handle?
What is it?
Can you look up what Russell's
Russell
Twitter?
Peters or the real Russell Pete?
Go find out what the Twitter handle would be.
Well, let me see.
I actually want you to. By the way, I've never. Rob, how many podcasts have we done? When have you heard me tell a person they got to start a podcast? Like
0.
Yeah, I think you're gonna kill. So zoom in. Okay, the real Russell P.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's the handle.
I got
Why don't
3.8
you
million?
give some names? Yeah, like I got 3.8 million. Why don't you give some names of people that you would see co-hosting with Russell Peters? Give some commentary where, you know, crowdsourcing and see what people say. But you know, if you went 3 times a week, I would be willing to bet within 12 to 24 months you'd be top 20 podcast on Spotify. And you know they're paying okay, by the way, for some guys that decide to go with them. After you produce it, guys are getting paid
I think
pretty good money.
Spotify already rejected me.
Yeah, but that's probably...
Even when I did Rogan's, they didn't put mine on Rogan. When I did on
but
Rogan, I was like, damn.
There's a guy named Joe who got $250 million, and he did it again 2 times, by the way.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and now obviously we're not saying this is the kind of money that they're going to pay out.
No,
you know.
that doesn't happen all the time.
But I think you dude, you're okay. Can you go to YouTube? Just go to YouTube and let's do a quick analysis on our talent here. Just type in Russell Peters, and Rob, if you could go to filter on the right and just go to views, okay? And zoom in a little bit, if you could. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, 28 million views. Keep going. Okay, 19 million views, 17 million views, 16 million views, 13 million views, 13 million views, 12 million views.
I got some good views.
11 million views. You know how many people can say this? Brother, it's not, and by the way, these are not shorts. These are actual, you know, bits that you're doing, or some of them are even long form. Your market is so wide, I think a podcast, you would blow up internationally. Anyways, I'm just a regular guy trying to, you know, persuade you
Let's
to.
do it. No, I'm looking for any avenues of making more money, guys.
No,
so.
I think this would be a part that you would crush. Okay,
We should do it out here in Florida, so I have an excuse to fly back and forth.
if you were here, I would say, what do you want us to do for you? We'd open it up. We'd put the cigar lounge. We'd create a set for you. You would do it here, but you're stuck with your buddy Gavin. That is just such a, you know, stud of a guy he is in California. You got to. He's phenomenal at what he does. Question for you:
Is he sponsored by a hair gel company?
Good-looking guy, though. You do, bro. Like your hair gel. I mean, that's a pretty. Is that American Crew or what do you use?
No, this is the clay. I use the clay.
I use the clay. Got it.
Yeah, I don't have the hair like you got. Good hair. I'm hanging on. My brother's got great hair. I'm pulling it forward so my forehead looks smaller. I'm going to be Rob in 10 minutes.
The other day, my son and my daughter come to me. They're like, "Hey, Dad, you know you're going bald." I said, "What are you talking about?" He says, "Here, let me take a video." The kid literally takes a video back. He says, Dad, no, you're going bald. Look at this. There's 3 spots you have. I'm like, dude, just hide this video away from everybody. I don't want to see it right now.
There's nothing missing.
45 years old, right? It is
fine.
what it is.
You're fine.
But no, going back to it. Okay. So I worked at Bally's at the gym. And we would have, I was in Hollywood, El Centro Bally Total Fitness. I don't know if you remember that. It was down the street from Highland and Hollywood. Biggest Bally's in the world was in Hollywood, off of El Centro, next to Los Angeles Church of Christ, that later ended up becoming a cult, which has never happened before. But
no,
yeah. So I'm going to this gym, and I used to work at Chatsworth Bally's off of DeSoto. Yep, I don't know if you know that one, the one with the outdoor pool. And it's down the street from Rogan. He used to live by Bell Canyon. It's like 15 minutes away, 10 minutes away. So we would have Russian Jews would come by to buy memberships, and Indians would come by to buy memberships, okay? And nobody could sell them. It was very hard to sell to Russian Jews and Indians.
Well, we're not known as historically athletic people, so.
Yeah, but why do you think, what do you think when it comes down to the 2 profiles, okay? The ability or the desire to want to get anything to be the lowest price possible, a better deal than anybody else. Is that a genetic thing?
I think it is.
You think it is?
I think it is. But also,
it's a gift, though, right? I mean, that's like
if you're able to negotiate that way, that's a gift. I tap out easy. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm just like, whatever. Just shut up. Just shut up and let me go now.
Yeah, that's the, what did you call it? That's the Anglo-Indian. That's the
Anglo-Indian.
That's
like,
the Indian.
All right, shut up now, pal.
The negotiation genes didn't come to you.
No, not well. And I think I'm doing well sometimes. And my friend's like, why'd you pay that? I'm like, well,
I thought that was not a deal. I thought I got a good deal. No, you didn't.
And then my brain also goes, you have way more than that person. You should be generous. That's what my brain does.
Yeah.
Like when we were in India just recently, I took a rickshaw.
Is that your heart or your brain?
My heart, probably. Yeah. I was in India. We got a rickshaw, and in Calcutta, they have the one guy that still pulls you. He's got no shoes on, and he's the wooden wheels on this thing, and so he's dragging you through the city. And I go, "How much to take me back to the hotel?" He says, 50 rupees. That's 60 cents. 60 cents. That's what it costs. He gets me there. I only have 500 rupees in my pocket, which is $6. I go, here. And he's like, and I go, keep it. And then everyone else is like, why would you do that? He's going to raise his price. I'm like, what? You're not worried about this guy? This guy's running around the city carrying you with no shoes on. And you're concerned with him raising the fucking price? You greedy bastard. I don't like greed.
But is that the typical profile or is that you?
That's me.
Yeah.
That's me. For sure, that's me.
So, back in the days when you could get away with this because there wasn't all the HR stuff they have today, what worked for me was the following. We had all the managers in the office, and I was the TO guy. TO means you turn it over to this person to come and close. He's the closer that would say, hey, Pat,
so you were selling
I was selling gym memberships,
okay.
Right? And I would...
But I'll tell you where the gym membership game went wrong is when they started doing it, and then you would think you're signing up for a year, but they'd still be taking it out of your account monthly.
Well, that was Bally's' issue. They would sign a 36-month contract at Bally's.
Yeah.
It was 5 down, 36-month contract, right? And then it would come back down and be like $5 a month. That was their way of selling.
Auto-renew.
It was auto-renew, 36 months. Yeah, and then guess what? That's why Bally's is no longer around. They went out of business and LA Fitness bought them out. But if I knew somebody came in, I would test Armenians out because I'm Armenian. So they would always say, "Aper, me ban Aravories chemuzum shutdown. Kanies karones. Me amis metarif free me ban tasinzi. Like give me something
and you
for
have to
free."
make them feel like you did.
And God forbid if
the
they
minute
find
you hear
out
Akbar, you're done.
That's right. Yeah. But when it came down to Indians, if I would come up, say something, and I would say, "Listen, I know one thing you're going to do today. I'm going to give you a tour. I'm going to give you all the deals. And you're not going to buy nothing today. You're going to waste an hour of my day, and you will not buy nothing. I will buy. I guarantee you won't buy nothing. I won't buy nothing. I said, I know you're not going to buy that. You came with your Mercedes. You're probably a doctor. Everything you do, you negotiate hardcore. There's no way. I guarantee you won't buy anything today. You don't think I buy any? I don't. You will. There's no way you're going to buy something.
You would play on their ego.
And you know what happened? They would call the manager, and the manager's my groomsman at my wedding.
Right.
I'll say, you know what? This man called me cheap. He says, I'm so sorry. I'm so apologetic about the way he behaved. I'm going to write him up. And then he would give him a tour, come back, sell them the biggest membership they could sell.
Yep.
So the idea was the pride. If God forbid you offended their pride, the fact that they can afford it, they would pay premium.
Well, that's where when you prey on ego, you're always going to win. I had it happen to a friend of mine. He's very rich. He wanted to rent out the hotel for his wedding.
Yeah. The whole hotel.
The whole hotel.
Yeah.
And he's very rich, very, very wealthy kid. They told him the price, and he said, "Can you do better?" And they said, "If this price is too high, we suggest you find another hotel." He just preyed on his ego. Oh, yeah? Fuck you, I'm taking it. You know what I mean? Like, and I've done dumb things like that in the past, you know? I remember getting on a flight one time, going to get on a flight, and they were giving me a hard time. The lady was really rude at the counter, blah, blah, blah. And they go, "You know what? Fuck you. I'm going to take a private jet." And I did. And, you know, that little fuck you moment meant nothing to her. She's not even going to remember it. And I'm the one stuck with the bill now, like an asshole.
She's watching it right now saying, what? Yeah. I sold you. I got paid 20% commission on that on the back end.
Yeah, right? So, I mean, you know, when you play on people's ego is a motherfucker, ain't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's all of us fall for that every once in a while. Do you think comedy's better today, better 20 years ago, better 40 years ago, or it's good no matter what season it is?
I mean, it's always good. Is it as... it's not as free, but neither is humanity.
Free as in what? Like
I mean, just to say whatever you want to say.
I got you, yeah.
And not have to worry about anybody else's feelings because, you know, you watch those roasts from the 70s with Don Rickles and there was racial shit being thrown around and sexual shit and all that stuff, but everybody somehow understood this is just for fun, guys. And now people can't separate reality from fun. Everything has to be somehow steeped in reality. It's like, no, this is real. He said that. He meant it. I'm like, this is not what I meant at all. Like, I'll give it one time, my wife got mad at me because I went, you know, I always look at things from the extreme. Here's this. What's the complete opposite? What's the complete antithesis of this? This. That's funny then. So here's what I said. And she got fucking mad as shit at me. And I don't get mad at me now. I'm just telling him the story. I meant nothing by it. I was on stage and I said, "I'm in a great relationship now. Had a wonderful woman." Everybody starts clapping. I go, "You know, I realized the mistake I used to make. I used to go for these, you know, young, hot girls, and who would have known old and ugly was my sweet spot. You know, I was just going with the complete opposite. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying my wife's old and ugly, but I was just trying to be fucking funny. And then when I told her, because I got a big laugh, she hung up on me. I was like, what the fuck happened?
But did you tell her before you were going to tell this joke?
No, I didn't know. I just made it up on the spot.
I got you.
You know, and I was like, oh, this is good. This is good stuff.
I mean, but these are, sometimes I watched, you know, comedians and for me, I see a pastor tells a story about the son and the son hates the dad. Why would you tell a story of me what I did when I was 11 years old? It's a good sermon. I want to give the sermon, right? Yeah. So sometimes I wonder, same thing happens with comedy. One time I'm watching, have you seen Schultz's recent special? Andrew Schultz's recent special?
No, but I love Andrew Schultz.
Freaking ridiculous, this guy.
The kid's amazing.
Oh my God. He tells this about the whole thing that they can't have kids, you know, and he's having a hard time having kids and his wife wants to kind of go through to check. But that was hilarious. And then the other one with Irresponsible Tour with Kevin Hart. I brought Kevin one time to perform at one of our events 6 years ago. He came so flippin' hammered, 2.5 hours late. I thought this guy wasn't going to do the whole thing. But he hits the stage and tells the story about when him and his wife are doing their thing in a bedroom and kids walk in. Mm-hmm. And he breaks down every position, how he says we're playing football. Like literally every position he said, if we're doing this, they come in, hot, go. And he pushes the wife up. You're just watching, like, okay, so, I mean, your kid's going to see that. That's going to be funny as hell. Your wife has to understand she married a comedian. Mm-hmm. You're going to say some stuff from your personal life because you got to draw the stories, right? Yeah. And they have to accept it. Didn't you once perform for King of Jordan?
Well, we're friends. I didn't perform for him.
You didn't?
No, he just wanted to meet up and have dinner, and then we subsequently became friends. And that's been 15, 16 years now we've been friends.
Did you ever do an event? Did you ever go? No. Never, just friends?
Just had dinner with him a bunch of times, and, you know, he's a really amazing guy. He's a really smart, logical man.
Did he at least pay the bill, or was it?
Oh no, we didn't go to a restaurant. Are you kidding? We'd go to the Palace. That's and literally you're eating like a king. I've had I think the best steak I've ever eaten in my life was he made it for me, as a matter of fact.
Get out of here.
Yeah, he has a teppanyaki grill. He cooked it right in front of us. And
What else did you eat? What do you eat in a palace like that?
I don't know, but it was literally, I don't know where they got this. Every time I've eaten with royal people, I understand, like, I'm eating dog shit, aren't I? Because these people are eating some good food. Like every single time I've had, like I've been fortunate enough to meet a few different royal people in my life, and every time I eat their food, I'm like, what the fuck am I eating out here that doesn't taste like this? Tastes amazing.
Who are some of the royal people? Are these like all from the Middle East or?
Pretty much, yeah. There's a lot of the Middle Eastern guys.
Do they get you gifts? Like, do they get you crazy gifts afterwards or no?
Sometimes. I think that's slowed down now.
Yeah, the economy's kind of bad, or you're not going.
I don't know. I've tried. I tried.
So one time I heard Arnold Palmer tell a story. Okay. And Arnold Palmer, the golfer, he
not
tells
the
us,
beverage. Yeah.
No, well, when I first met him at
Arnold Palmer's from Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
Is he?
Yeah, because my other manager, Paulie, is from Latrobe, and that's one of his talking points.
He tells you
Arnold
that.
Palmer is from Latrobe.
Well, I would have never known Latrobe, and I probably would have butchered how to pronounce it if you wouldn't have first said Latrobe. I would have said
Latrobe?
Latrobe.
Yeah.
I would have pronounced it in a different way. Anyway, so Arnold Palmer tells a story. He says, one time I get a call from some sheikh or some king from the Middle East that wants him to go golf, 18 holes. And he says, I just want to watch you. He says, do you want me to do a charity event? No. Do you want me to play against anybody else? No, I just want you to come and do 18 holes. I just want to watch. I love your swing. So I'm like, it's kind of weird. Okay, I'll take the invite. He goes and performs and does his thing. And then afterwards, he's at the hotel. The associates from the sheikh come and they knock on his
Protocol.
door. Hey, just want to let you know, incredible. He's very grateful for the way you did what you did today. Loves your golf game. He wants to give you a gift. Arnold's like, no, I'm okay. Thank you so much. I already appreciate the hospitality. He says, listen, it's an insult. If you don't let me go back, he wants a gift. He says, no, I'm telling you, all culturally, you can't say no to us. He would like to get you a gift. He says, I'm a golfer. Maybe get me like a golf club or something like that. Okay, great. And he leaves. He comes back. He says he hands me a deed to a golf club because they thought I said a country club.
Wow.
A country club deed. Can you imagine the amount of
'cause-
wealth? Now, whether this story is accurate or not, I don't know, but it's a phenomenal story.
I could see that being true.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, what kind of crazy?
Because over there, their wealth is so insane. And when you're like, we're not from that part of the world. So if a guy like Rob was like, oh, they want to give you a gift, you're thinking, I don't need another vase. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we're thinking. Another fucking crystal fruit bowl. I'm good, And then they show up with these outrageous gifts, One time I was in Saudi Arabia and I said to the hotel, they said, how did you sleep? And I said, I'll be honest, it was literally the most comfortable bed I'd ever slept in my life. I slept amazing. And they go, really, what part? I go, from the pillows to the bed sheets to the blanket. Everything was amazing. I slept so good. I can remember to this day how well I slept in that bed, too. Oh, well, that's great. Thank you so much. We like the feedback. Great. I pack up to leave.
Yeah.
I go to my room. There's a big box. I go, what's this? They go, it's the bedding and all the bed sheets. We're sending it home for you. I'm like, what the fuck?
But that's what you call unreasonable hospitality, or
where it's like, how do you reciprocate this? Like it's just because part of me is like, okay, I appreciate it, but I need to do something back for you now.
when these guys invite you and you go sit down with them, do you kind of feel like they're having dinner with you? Like, okay, make me laugh. Is that how it is, or is it just
no? You
they're
make
so
them laugh
interested,
beforehand,
and then they invite you. They just want to get to know you.
Yeah,
I got it. Yeah. No, I mean, listen, there's certain places, when you grow up, I don't know if you heard this from your dad, but my dad would say, you think money grows on trees? In the Middle East, I think it does. Some of these places, Saudi Arabia.
It doesn't grow on trees, it grows in the dirt.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of trees there. That makes sense. Anyways, brother, this has been great. I hope, and I'm optimistic, that maybe in the next 3, 6, 12 months, we're going to see Russell Peters in the podcast game.
I think PBD is going to be putting this together for us, guys.
Listen, for the people that are watching, send a list of names and tag him. Let him go back to his 3.9 million followers that he has and see who you recommend him doing it with, because I would love to see a podcast of you coming back up with the amount of depth you have on these different stories. God knows how many. And by the way, you know what the easiest thing is to do? Yeah, Rob.
No, I'm just reading. Made in America. You were born in Iran, made in America?
Yeah. So this lady, I was on, I don't know, I think she was on.
I like that you just put the Armenian flag but didn't put Armenian.
Because, Apple, I've been asking Tim Cook, give us an Assyrian flag. He hasn't given us an Assyrian flag.
Yeah, is there an Assyrian flag?
There is an Assyrian flag, but not on Apple.
But so the Chaldeans have claimed it?
Chaldeans and Assyrians, they compete. But Assyrians,
but they're the same people.
Yeah, but it's like...
You're both Babylonians.
Armenians who compete. One is from Yerevan, one is from Iran, one is from
there's the highest
Lebanon.
Ones, and then there's the others.
Oh, it's a real thing.
I call them the off-brand Armenians.
Which ones?
The any ones that are not Hayastansi.
Was your ex Hayastansi or was she?
No, from Georgia.
From Georgia.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Very cool. Interesting. So, anyways, I'm excited to see you start something.
The Handik Podcast.
The Handik Podcast. What was that song? Remember that song, the Indian song? Okay, then don't worry about it.
You lost me already.
My dad used to have us watch Indian movies, bro.
I grew up with the Sevs.
You did? With the Sevs? Literally?
Yeah.
You're not joking?
No, from the age of 4.
Did you ever date a Sev?
Yeah.
But never wanted to marry a Sev, or just never happened?
No, just never. We were never in love. I mean, you don't just marry them because of whatever. You marry who you think you love.
Most people don't know this. I dated more Sevs than anything else.
Really?
Yeah. Because I was also into Sevs.
Yeah, I could tell by your musical taste when you said stuff. I go, okay.
Yeah, they were
Patrick's got a funky side that he hides. Patrick's hiding his funky side because he hangs around a lot of white people now. Nobody's going to take my financial advice from a guy who likes hip hop. What do you think I should do with my money? Buy some bitches.
My man, appreciate you for coming out. This was great.
Thanks,
and looking forward to seeing what you do next.
So am I.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye.
In these uncertain times, if there's anything we need people to believe the future looks bright. So if you've heard about me saying this mission to you, we're on a mission to get 1 million people to wear this gear. And this is what we're doing. If you buy one of these hats, there's a category of buying one hat, getting the second one free. If you haven't yet worn this gear publicly, go ahead and test it out. Buy some of the gear, wear it in public, and see how many people will stop by and say, you also watch Valuetainment? You also follow PBD Podcast? I do too. Place your order. Go to vtmerch.com. Click on the link above or below. Place your order and represent the VT and the PBD Podcast gear.
When you criticize Christians, I hope you know who you're criticizing.
That kind of message was being given. Oh my God, do you know what would happen?
The ultimate solution to America's problems is not the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, rather it's the kingdom of God.
Will there be a time where AI will be the new God?
Some guys can write their sermons using
AI, that's right.
So hopefully at some point we're going to realize, because we have consciences and rational minds, this moral relativism that we bought is bankrupt.
So no one's even come up to me talking about this.
Boy, oh boy, did he ever twist some of the teachings of Christ, not the least of which is polygamy. I mean, you can't read the Bible and walk away saying polygamy's good.
Every and any major thing that's ever happened in my life goes back to the role that God played in my life.
He looks a minister in the face and he says, no, we're not going to pray that God is on our side. We're going to pray that we are on God's side, for God's side is always right.
You've seen today's guest clips go viral on TikTok, Instagram, all over the place. He's got a very engaging way of communicating with the audience. We talk about a lot of different things. Pastor Cliff Connect Lee, I asked him about the difference on how he views Christianity, Muslim. We talked about the Quran, Prophet Muhammad, some of the stuff that he said you got to watch for yourself. We talked about even the influence of Israel, AIPAC, and U.S. politics. And then from there, we went into Andrew Tate leaving the Christian religion to being a Muslim. He had a unique angle he took with that. What is it to be a complete man today? What is it to be a complete leader today? What were some of the strengths on the way Jesus communicated that the average person can also apply into their day-to-day? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this thing as much as I did as well. With that being said, here's Pastor Cliff Connect Lee.
Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me. Yeah, why would you bet on Goliath when we got betDavid? Valuetainment, giving values contagious. This world of entrepreneurs, we get no value to haters. How they run, homie, look what I become. I'm the one.
All right, today we have a special guest. You've probably seen him on TikTok. He's one of the most viral preachers, pastors out there who you'll see him on campuses. They'll ask him different questions varying from, the Quran against the Bible, or if God is there, why does, so many bad things happen to people? And he addresses these issues openly with many others. You've seen the clips. And, I talked to the crew. I said, you know what? I'd like to have him here to have a discussion with him about what's happened with faith in America. And with that being said, today we got Cliff Knickly here with us. How you doing?
Good, Patrick. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I looked up your, because a lot of time when somebody becomes a pastor, I'm like, okay, so your son is usually, you do something with him, right? I think it's Stuart. And then your father, is it Emilio or Emilo? Emilio, who was married to your mother 56 years, 6 kids, I believe, right, if I'm not mistaken. Right. But a lot of the stuff that I tried to listen to, it was not in English. It was either in German or what language is he preaching in?
He spoke 5 languages and preached in all of them.
Which languages were they?
They were English, German, Italian, French, and Schweizerdeutsch.
Got it. Okay. And then was he a 7-day or was he apologetic like you? Was he an Adventist?
Yes, he became a Seventh Adventist.
He became a Seventh Adventist.
Yes, he sure did.
And then at one point, did you say, this is not me, I'm going to go a different direction? Or what happened with you? Or did he also evolve and then your faith evolved based on his?
I never was a Seventh Adventist. He raised us in a basic Bible teaching church. And then he became a Seventh Adventist. And after studying it, I just couldn't go that path. So I stuck with basic Orthodox Christianity. Non-denominational position that you have. Got it. And you guys have very similar voices, by the way. Like when I'm listening to us, he also has that strong voice. Okay, I got a bunch of things I want to go through with you. We'll get into the topics. But did you watch the presidential election last week? The debate?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, the debate.
Yep.
Yes, June 27th. Do you think anytime in the future we're going to have the likelihood of a pastor running for president?
Interesting question. I do not know.
What do you think? You think America would be open to that idea? And if yes, what would need to happen for us to get to a point to say, you know what, babe, I don't think it's a bad idea to have a pastor run for president. I think that means, because, it's kind of like, well, you know what I like about Trump? I like the fact that he's a business guy. Well, you know what I like about him? I like the fact that because, Barack Obama, I like him because, you know what I like about Bush? You know what I like about this? We are able to convince ourselves. Do you think we'll get to a point where we'll say, you know what I like about him? Man of faith, he's preaching. Probably we need a little bit of God today in America. Yeah, I'll give him a shot one time. Will we get there?
I don't know. Maybe. Everybody has a worldview, though. And so whenever anybody says to me, well, we're not allowed to have our religion influence our politics, I agree, separation of church and state, which I'm very grateful for, but everybody has a worldview, and our worldview determines who we're going to vote for, what are our important issues, what are our priorities. So every atheist, every agnostic, every Christian, every Muslim, every Buddhist has a view of reality that deeply impacts the way they're going to vote, the way they're going to order their lives.
What's more likely? Is it more likely for America to vote for a politician who was a congressman or woman, senator, maybe even a governor that eventually chooses to run for office as a president, but they're a Muslim? Or is it more likely to have somebody that runs for office that's a full-time preacher, pastor of a church, Christian? Which of those two things is more likely?
Well, because of where our country's been headed, I really can't answer that question. There's been such a rise in secularism. There has been so much anti-Christian bias that it's hard to figure out what people are going to exactly do. But I'm praying that we're going to have a revival of faith in Christ in this country. I'm convinced that the ultimate solution to America's problems is not the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. Rather, it's the kingdom of God. I think America is great when America follows Jesus Christ, and America turns ugly fast when we depart from Jesus Christ.
Why do you think we departed? Why and when? Why do you think we departed?
I was preaching in a Korean church in Dallas, Texas a few years ago, and Korean believers are very intense usually. They have the largest missions movement outside the United States of any country. And after I preached there, I had lunch with a bunch of the leaders of that Korean church, And I said, guys, I am so impressed with the vibrant Christian faith in Korea. Mm-hmm. They said, well, don't be too impressed because it's really cooling off. I said, why? And they said, for the same reason the church here in the United States is cooling off, materialism. If you have all the money you need, you don't need God. And that's why Jesus said, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. Why? Because I think money feeds my ego, my pride. It feeds my self-sufficiency, my feeling of autonomy. And I don't need you. I don't need God. I don't need anybody. I'm a self-sufficient, autonomous, all-American. And that's a very dangerous path to walk down spiritually. I'm afraid that our culture has gone down that path, and therefore God is irrelevant, and science and money, that's the way we're going to go.
Yeah, and I think Billy Graham was it, right? When he preached in Korea, 1.5 million people showed up, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
Right? I mean,
that's
it's one of the most fascinating pictures to look at.
Yep.
If you can pull this up, Rob, which one? That's it. Look at that. That's insane.
That's it.
Yeah. So, okay. So you're saying money as one. Do you think that's the only reason? Because, all right, maybe when would you say it was a time where our faith in Jesus was something where, a president maybe even would get up and be thankful and maybe even pray, and it was an open discussion where we were comfortable with it and we were praying in school, and it wasn't a big deal to pray in school, maybe even take Bibles to school. We would even read from it sometimes. When did that stop and why? Because I know you're saying materialism. I get that. But materialism is on the other end of those who defend the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the values and principles that this country was founded on, right? One has to agree to make it secular. Who was that? When did it happen? What was the reasoning why we shifted away from God?
Well, after speaking on campuses for 42 years, what I have observed is a growth in moral relativism. And that growth in moral relativism has gotten to the point today where choice is often God. And don't you dare tell me what I'm going to choose. My choice is my business, and choice is God. And that defines then, it misdefines freedom as being, I do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. And don't you or God or anybody else tell me what to do, because that's the antithesis of freedom. So there's a misdefinition of freedom, and yet it's very attractive to me as a human being, because I love to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And God, I don't want you telling me what to do. I want to determine that.
So, okay, so we got materialism as one.
Mm-hmm.
You got choice is our God. I get to do whatever I get to do. You don't tell me anything. It's my choice. And, how much of that is, phases that a kid goes through where they become a teenager and they're kind of like, don't tell me what to do. I know what I'm doing. You know what? I realize that you don't know what you're talking about. All you care about is this and all these things that you have. And then eventually, 10 years later, it's that 3 phases of father-son relationship goes through where you first idolize, then you demonize, then you humanize. And you're like, you know what? My dad is a human being like me. Shit, I actually like this guy. My God, I've been pretty bad to the guy the last 10 or 15 years, right? Do you think a population or a generation is going through that where they're convincing everybody else that they're right because there's so many of them and they have access to this tool called social media that everybody else is saying, well, if this person here, this 16-year-old kid got 17 million views, she must know more than I do about God and she must be right. Do you think it's the rebellious phase we're going through where it's just a phase? Or do you think this could be permanent and it's a direction we'll end up staying at?
Well, I pray we're not going to stay there.
Okay.
But relativism has definitely grown. And the illustration I often use is, if the professor at the beginning of a semester says to the students, you're going to be taking tests and I'm going to be grading these tests. And then he pauses and says, but wait a second, do you think truth is relative? And everybody raises their hand and says, oh yes, truth is relative. And he says, fine, when I grade your tests, I'm going to grade them according to height. And everyone goes, whoa. And he says, the tall people are going to get the Fs and the shortest people are going to get As. And everyone erupts by saying, oh, that's not fair. That's not fair. He says, wait a second. You told me everything's relative. If everything's relative, there's no such thing as fairness as an objective value. It's all relative. Well, it's that type of thinking that people have adopted. You can't live it out. Because if everything is relative, then the pedophile and the victim of the pedophile are equal. And there's really no difference because it's all relative. We can't live that out. So hopefully at some point we're going to realize, because we have consciences and rational minds, this moral relativism that we've bought is bankrupt, and it's leading to total chaos. I'm not surprised by what's going on in Washington, D.C. I'm not surprised by the animosity in our culture today. It's a logical result of relativism. If you and I are just hunks of primordial slime evolved to a higher order, then I can denigrate you because you had the audacity to disagree with me, and my opinion is king. So it makes a lot of sense where we are now, unfortunately. I root so much of it in moral relativism. And I'm sorry, the 10 Commandments are not the 10 suggestions. They're God saying, I'm sorry, human beings have innate value, so you don't lie to people. You don't steal their property. You don't murder them. You don't covet what they have. Instead, you learn to thank God for what they have, and you thank God for what you have. And I think you've got a great definition I saw on the wall there about gratitude and being grateful for what God has given you. Yeah, well, that's foundational to an accurate view of life and of people.
Yeah, last week we're having dinner with the family. And I said, so guys, we always, when we have dinner, it's always a debate. We're always debating something because that's just what I like. So we're always debating an issue. I'm like, so let me ask you guys, what do you guys think is the ugliest quality a human being can have? And they start. I got a 12, a 10, and 8-year-old, and my 3-year-old has to sit next to me because we're taking her to restaurants now. But if she sits around anybody else, she'll run around. But if she sits next to Daddy, she's good. Her and I have a very good understanding together. So one says, entitled. Blame, complaining, ungrateful, and this and you're just going one by one by one by. I'm like, my gosh, there's a lot of that going on right now in America today, with how people are, selling America. But you said faith. Okay, money is one. Your truth is relative. This is my truth. That's your truth. That's my truth. How could you tell me, but this is my truth, right? I know what my truth is, right? All these lines that we live with. And then, you also said one other one, which was what? You said
choice.
Choice. Choice is my God, right?
Yep.
I can do whatever I want to do with my body, my life, my this, my that. Okay, cool. Like a libertarian type of a position to take where as long as you do your thing, don't bother me, we should be happy, right? So why is, if that's the case in Christianity, why is the religion of Islam growing the way it is? Why are they exponentially growing? Why is it that, God forbid you say anything about them, you have to be careful? I mean, we had Bishop Marmari here. He flew in from Australia to be on a podcast, a Syrian man. I had Georgienko here. Georgienko, you and him did a phenomenal podcast together. And we had a panel of 4 Assyrians, right? Vinny, Assyrian, myself, George, and Bishop Marmari. He gets up there and he says, let me tell you the difference between your prophet and my prophet, right? And he explains Muhammad against, Jesus. Goes back and preaches. A young boy shows up to the church, grabs a knife, stabs his eye, and he's blind. He's gone. He lost his eye, right? Why do you not hear stories when people make fun of Christianity and Jesus? You don't hear stories like that. Why is the fact that when someone in Hollywood becomes a Christian, they're demonized, they lose jobs, and they're publicly praying? In the NFL, one athlete, the guy that's the Houston, what's the Houston Texans, the young guy who had a very, very good season. Stroud, I think something Stroud.
Yep.
He says, I want to thank Jesus Christ. ABC cuts that part, right? Then they show everything about the interview except the part that he thanked Jesus Christ. But if somebody thinks Muhammad or Muslim, they protect it, they celebrate it. Why the difference in the way they treat Christians versus Muslims?
This past spring, I was at Ole Miss University, and a young woman stepped out of the crowd, and with tears coming down her cheeks, she said, my professor told me that God is Santa Claus, and the Bible is totally irrelevant. So there has been an incredible leaning towards secularism in the faculty on the major university campuses around this country, and it has had horrible consequences, as Christians' faith has been minimized, ridiculed by some of the most intelligent people in this culture, our university professors. Now, there are many tremendous Christian faculty, and I get to meet them regularly. But there has been a all-out pedal-to-the-metal war against faith in Christ. It's been pictured as arcane, ignoramus would follow it, science is the way to go, and the whole issue of science and faith, that's a straw man. Science and faith don't contradict each other. Faith is answering the question, who created? And science is answering the question, what's the process that goes on in creation, in nature? There's no contradiction. And yet even that has been used to minimize the Christian position. Good gracious, Charles Darwin, one of his best friends was a guy named Asa Gray, who was a botanist and who taught at Harvard University. And they corresponded. Asa Gray sent 300 letters to Charles Darwin. And Asa Gray says, Charles, you don't have to reject your faith in Christ just because of evolution. There's an intelligent mind behind this amazing process of evolution. And Charles Darwin couldn't buy it. I personally feel that Charles Darwin rejected Christ because of his daughter who died and because of his uncle, who was not a believer in Christ, who died. So I don't think it was because of evolution, really, if you go down to the fact. But once again, science is used in our culture to minimize faith in Christ. And so it's hard. Now, let's compare the growth of Islam with the growth of Christianity. Christianity is booming around the world, not necessarily in the West, but in Asia, Africa, and South America. Faith in Christ is growing like leaps and bounds. That's why when all these new atheists say, oh, religion is on its way out, that's baloney. Not only is Islam growing, Christianity is growing. Christianity is still the largest religion in the world. And if the trends continue the way they are going today, there will be more followers of Christ in China than in any nation in the world. It's incredible, the growth of the underground church in China.
Yeah, but why is it that, if they're scared of allowing you to talk about Christianity, but Islam is protected? Why is there a level of fear of criticizing Islam and Prophet Muhammad, but none about criticizing Jesus and Christianity?
Well, at times I feel like it's an overreaction to colonialism. Obviously, colonialism has occurred, and Christian nations did colonize. And there was a lot of evil that went on. But that does not change the fact that there have been thousands of Christian missionaries who loved Christ and served people and gave out of their backside and their head to help people get well. I have a younger brother who's a transplant surgeon, and he spent a summer in Nepal helping people. He wasn't there to rip people off or to bring the American flag. He was there to introduce people to Christ and to love people as best he could. But there's been quite a reaction to colonization, and I think it's hopefully run its course. For instance, in this vein, Stephen Carter is an African-American professor at Yale Law School. And Stephen Carter does a great job asking, when you criticize Christians, I hope you know who you're criticizing. The demographic with the largest numbers of followers of Christ in the world is women of color. And the demographic with the largest number of followers of Christ in it percentage-wise in the United States is African-American women. So be very careful when you start criticizing Christians. And yet so many professors and so much thinking in the press in our country has basically said, oh, Christianity is a white Western man's religion. A young lady said that to me at the University of South Carolina. I was just about to answer her. A tall black gentleman steps out of the crowd and says, excuse me, I'm a grad student here and I'm from Ethiopia. Our Ethiopian Christian church is far older than any Christian church here in the United States or in any part of Western Europe. And this idea that Christianity is a white Western religion is totally false. You could have heard a pin drop. But that is the antithesis of what a lot of anthropology and humanities professors are teaching, that, oh no, Christianity is a white male religion, which is baloney. You know the demographic with the largest number of atheists? Mm-hmm. White men, white Western men.
Wow. So atheists, large demo is white male.
Yep.
Christians is African-American women.
Correct. In the United States.
That is wild. That is wild to have that breakdown. So, okay. So, you said everywhere it's growing. In the West, it's not, right? There's something that's going on in the West that's different than everybody else. If there's anywhere where you can show the proof that it's worked and it's produced the best society that you can raise kids, save, grow, do your thing, build a good family, prosperity, you name it, it's America. Why, even though we have a case study to show how the right values and principles made America the greatest nation in the world, why not go back and, focus on teaching those values and principles to kids?
That's a great question. That's one of the reasons I'm so grateful to God for you, brother. You're a successful businessman. You understand the principles of doing business well and putting together companies well, and you are committed to Christ. Well, we need more of you who are in the marketplace living out what it means to be a follower of Christ in the practical, nitty-gritty details of everyday life. And this whole idea that if you're really committed to Christ, you're going to be a minister or a priest or a monk or a nun is baloney. It's not biblical. In Colossians 3:23, Paul writes, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as serving the Lord rather than people. And that's what you as a Christian businessman are trying to do. That's what I as a pastor and apologist on college campuses are trying to do. We're using whatever personality and gifts that God has given us to glorify Him by pointing people to Him and by living out a life of Christ-honoring integrity, compassion, hard work, and using the brains that God has given us to do the best we can.
But why is it here? Why is it when we're looking at here, America specifically, where we have the proof that it's worked, why is it becoming popular to demonize it and step away from it? Why are more institutions more comfortable celebrating and dedicating an entire month to LGBTQ Pride Month in the month of June, but we're not willing to dedicate an entire month to the role God and faith has played in America? Why are we giving that much attention? The other day we pulled up the number of days we have that we dedicate to LGBTQ. There's roughly 145 days a year that are dedicated to that. If you didn't know, we even have a Gay Uncle Day in America. I don't know if you knew that, or it's very specific for you to know that because it's important facts, life-changing type of facts to know there's Gay Uncle Day. When is the Gay Uncle Day? Right there, August 14th. It's actually coming up, in the next 5 weeks, Rob. To all the gay uncles out there, we're going to celebrate you on August 14th. Why do we have all of these days, okay? Why are we so comfortable with politicians being like, yeah, you know what? Put another one here, Pansexual Pride Day. Let's do World AIDS Day, December 1st. Let's do a November 20th, Transgender Day of Remembrance. November 13th through the 19th, let's do Trans Awareness Week. November 8th, let's do the intersex, a Day of Remembrance. May 19th, yeah, let's do the Gender Pride, Day. All of these days, right? And then faith, no, we can't mix them up because that's you're forcing it down people's throat. Don't do it. You don't want to. What makes you separation from church and state? Don't put God. Don't bring faith. We got to kind of do your own thing. You're a little bit too much. You're too religious for me. Why has that been unattractive in America?
I think there are a lot of different reasons. But why don't we have an adultery day? Why don't we have a fornication day? Why don't we have a pornography day? Why don't we have a bestiality day? Why don't we have whatever sexual temptation you want to put out there day? I mean, you're right. It's a sad state of affairs. Now, what I am very grateful for is we don't get into gay bashing. Why? Because the Bible teaches that the value of a human being has nothing to do with their sexual practice. It has to do with the fact that we all are created in the image of God. And I have to apologize to my gay friends for the gay bashing that has gone on in our culture. So we despise that, and we stand for the dignity and value of all human beings. But good gracious, I hate the part of me that is sinful. I affirm my value as a human being, created in the image of God, but I hate the part of me that violates God's moral laws. And when I disagree with someone about human sexuality and how they practice it, it doesn't mean that I'm minimizing the person. No, I probably love the person more because I know that my feet are of clay, their feet are of clay, and self-righteousness stinks. When you read the Gospels, you'll notice how Jesus attacked self-righteousness because it's a religious pride. It's religious arrogance. So we have to be very, very careful that we teach people that all human beings have equal value because we're all created in the image of God. The ground at the level of the cross of Jesus Christ is level. We all need His grace. We all need His forgiveness. And just because my sin doesn't happen to be the practice of homosexual sex, just because my sin has more to do with lust and that type of heterosexual sin, doesn't make me inferior or superior to anybody else. We all are in desperate need of Jesus Christ, His grace, His forgiveness, His love, and His power to change. So it's a complex situation. There's no question about it, no simple answers, but there's so many different ingredients that go into this. It's incredible. And I'm still convinced that Satan is having a heyday in our culture, just ripping people away from Christ and ripping them away from the scriptures and having them buy into moral relativism, secularism. I mean, if you just think about the results of living a life without God, it's meaningless. That's why Albert Camus, the great French atheistic existentialist philosopher, said the only question modern man must answer is why not commit suicide? I mean, if your birth is an accident and your death is an accident, then the only thing that lies between these two accidents is another accident, your life. So why continue to suck wind? Why not just end it all? And his point was, if you don't think about that, you're being intellectually dishonest. And the good news of Jesus Christ is, no, your birth is not an accident, and your death is not an accident, and there's eternal life out there. So you better handle life very wisely and very carefully, and you better use the talents that God has blessed you with to make this world more like heaven will be. And that's really understanding and coming to grips with the purpose of life.
Yeah. So would you, I know you said gay bashing, so define gay bashing. When you say, I'm also not a fan of gay bashing. This is when we do what?
When we minimize a human being because of their sexual practice. We make jokes about them. We start getting in some cases, violent, and that violence has been deplorable at times. When we denigrate a human being created in the image of God just because they're gay or bisexual or whatever. No, all human beings have value. It comes from God. It doesn't come from me. It doesn't have anything to do with their sexual practice. But we all are perverts. I am a pervert. I have perverted the beautiful gift of God, life that God has given me. And that's what sin is. And therefore, we all need God's help to become the beautiful people that he created us to be initially.
Right. So do you think, the only reason I'm asking that question is because I think there's an element as well of, I used to pray for 4 things. I used to pray for courage, wisdom, tolerance, and understanding. Mm-hmm. I stopped praying for tolerance. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I stopped praying for tolerance is because I think way too many Christians became so tolerant with any kind of behavior that it's kind of like, yeah, it's okay.
Right.
Listen, we can't upset them.
Right.
Because we can't, because it's their truth. You're flirting with it's my truth, his truth, all this stuff, truth, right? You're almost getting very close to it where you're giving them ammunition to come back and say, you see, that's why. Mm-hmm. Because your history of this, and then they impose the guilt. Yep. And they're like, well, let me apologize on behalf of my ancestors and what they did and all these words they use. Oh my gosh, what else can I do to make you happy? Give me 145 days of holidays and days that we can remember for the pain that I have to deal with and the trauma that I have to deal with. Oh, cry me a flipping river is what so to me, I think the process of going through that leads to the opposition abusing that power. And, do you know what he did? When siblings fight, your kids, when they fight, he did this. And it's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But you know what? Let's give you ice cream. He also did this. Here, let me take you out somewhere, baby. You just screwed up that kid because that kid now knows every time how to get stuff from you. Yep. So, because to me, I think the LGBTQ is become its own religion today. Mm-hmm. And people are using it as a church in the name of whoever, baptized in the name of, all these other folks. So I think we're flirting with that. What goes in the mind of a society to think the direction we're going with LGBTQ is a good idea? Like, how do you even sell that? If you were to be a devil's advocate.
How do you sell it? I think you sell it by doing exactly what's been done on almost every major university campus and by the press in our country. You misdefine tolerance. You used the word tolerance, a very important word in art culture. All right, what is tolerance? Tolerance is not me looking into the face of an atheist and saying, you and I agree. I'm tolerating you. No. That's not tolerance. That's being brain dead. An atheist and I do not agree. Tolerance is me looking you in the face and saying, all right, you're an atheist, I'm a theist. We disagree. Mm-hmm. But guess what? I still love you and I still respect you. And we're going to disagree, and we're going to communicate why we disagree. We're going to have an intelligent discussion, which is what the liberal arts education in the United States and Western Europe was based on. A free discussion where we disagree, but we do it respectfully. Now, if I'm going to follow a guy who, as he's bleeding and dying on a cross, prays for his enemies, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That is the essence of tolerance. Jesus did not say, oh, give me more persecution. Stick another nail in my side. No. But he loved and forgave those who hurt him. That is tolerance. It's not saying, oh, we all agree. No, we don't agree. I do not agree with the atheist. I do not agree with the agnostic. I do not agree with the Muslim or the Buddhist or the Hindu. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, and this is why. But I will tolerate you in terms of respecting you in spite of our disagreements.
Yeah, I think when I'm so curious, like I want to know how we got here, and I want to know who thinks this is a good idea. Stats are against us. You know, our birth rate is the lowest it's ever been, 1.6. People are not having kids. The more you increase the population of gays and lesbians, the less kids are going to be born. And, you know, the more, if you even look at the data of what year we stopped, Rob, can you pull up the data you were showing about faith in 1964 and how it matches the single mothers to where we are today? 1964 is also where Lyndon Johnson came out with his new policies, where, you know, almost, we're going to take care of single mothers over a lot of kids. And 4% of kids were being born in single mother households. Now it's 40%. Skyrocketed, right? And then if you look at, zoom in right there, Rob, Americans are less likely to say religion can answer today's problems. If you go to 1964, look where it's at right there. Look how high it was. And then you can go lower and lower and lower and lower and lower, right? It's a way of getting me to have less faith. Religion considered important, no, 72%. It's getting me to have less faith in that there's a higher power that's going to protect me and take care of me. But there has to be a motive to this. There has to be a reasoning to do this. What would the motive be to do that? You know, as Christians, is it the devil's work? Is the devil using men to do this? What is the long-term motive? Is the enemy trying to find a deceptive way to divide America, to destroy it, and the enemy is on the outside? Is it on the inside? But none of these things make any logical sense that it's a good thing for society. So why do you think this is happening? You think it's an institution? You think it's an individual? You think the adversary? Who do you think is behind it?
I think you're being very biblical. It's all of the above. The Bible talks about the world, a world system that's anti-God. It talks about the sinful nature that we all are born with. Oh, no, Cliff, we're not born with sinful nature. We're all born good. Really? Then you haven't worked in a daycare center. You know, children can be precious. And when I was a little kid playing in a sandbox, my buddy infuriated me, so I picked up a metal truck and dropped it on his head. I'd never seen that behavior modeled, but I'm a sinner. I was a sinner from birth. So you've got the world system, you've got my sinful nature, what Dallas Willard, the USC philosophy professor, described as the readiness to sin factor that every individual has. And thirdly, you've got the devil. M. Scott Peck, the great Connecticut psychiatrist, wrote a book called People of the Lie. And in this book, he argues, you know something? In American psychiatry, we should include a branch called evil, demonic. Because when you look at something like a My Lai massacre, you're not just dealing with human beings getting confused. You're dealing with an incredible power of evil. And that's exactly what Jesus talked about Satan, a personal power of evil. So we're dealing with all of that, unfortunately, in our culture and our country today.
Okay. Yeah, I'm wondering if it's deeper than that. I'm wondering if this warfare that's going on, there's a bigger reasoning behind it that we still haven't even figured out that's happening. I don't have the answer. That's what I'm wondering. You're always out there talking to people, so maybe you've had so many different questions that people have asked you that's forced you to do the research to get back and better, improving the arguments, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, let's go back to basic fundamentals. Say I'm undecided, okay, and I'm in a market. I'm watching Andrew Tate goes from being a Christian to being a Muslim, okay, and believe it or not, he's got a lot of influence with young men. So, hey, man, I love what this guy has to say. I agree with him. Why would a guy as great of a communicator as him and as many followers as he has, why would he become Muslim? I'm curious. I'm willing to bet he influenced a lot of other young men to also become Muslims. Cool. Let's put that there. Christianity, okay? Catholic. We can put these together, right? Judaism. You're seeing what's going on here. How do you differ? If you were to, in a very basic way, as a professor, as a pastor, what is the difference between being a Christian, between being a Jew, between being a Muslim?
All right. So Jews believe that Jesus was not the Messiah and was not a good prophet. And he obviously wasn't God. Muslims believe that Jesus was a very good prophet, and a typical devout Muslim has far more respect for Jesus than the typical American, because a devout Muslim believes that Jesus was born of a virgin, lived a sinless life, and because he was such a good prophet, God would never allow him to die on a cross, so he took him to heaven. So the cross and the resurrection are wiped out, but a devout Muslim believes that Jesus is going to return a second time. So they believe in Jesus as a good prophet. Repeatedly in the Quran, Muhammad says Jesus is not God. But in the New Testament, the eyewitnesses who saw and heard Christ insisted Jesus claimed to be God by both his words and his actions. Mark chapter 2, he forgives the sins of a man who's lowered on a mat from the ceiling, never even seen the guy before, and all the religious people say, that's blasphemy. Only God can forgive sin. Yeah, by claiming to forgive the sin of that guy, Jesus is claiming to be God. And in John 8:58, Jesus says, before Abraham was born, I am. And the Jews did not call God G-O-D. They called him I am, Yahweh. And Jesus very intentionally took the name of the eternal pre-existent God, applied it to himself, and they picked up stones to stone him for blasphemy. So, you see, the basic issue is who is Jesus? And Judaism, Islam, and Christianity disagree. Now, here's my problem with Islam. I have a lot of respect for the fact that one of the 5 pillars of Islam is give alms to the poor. I respect that. Obviously, Jesus taught that. I appreciate that Muhammad had a very high view of Jesus as a good prophet. But here's some of the problems with it. The miracle of Islam is not a person, it's a book, the Quran. In order to know that revelation, the clear revelation of God, the Quran, best, you have to learn Arabic. In other words, God is revealing himself in Arabic most clearly. The miracle of Christianity is not a book. It's not the Bible. It's Jesus Christ, the person who is God in human form. So, am I going to be attracted to a religion that says Arabic, that's what you got to go? Or no, Jesus loves the world and gives him his life for everybody. Second difference is, Muhammad came with a sword. And let's be honest, it was not pretty for North Africa and for Europe, what the Muslims did. And one of the largest churches in the 2nd and 3rd century was in Egypt, and that church got slaughtered. So Muhammad came with a sword. Jesus came with a towel, and he served people. And I am convinced that the reason that more people are followers of Christ than any other religion is because of his love, his serving, as well as his truth that he outlined very, very clearly. So those are 2 of the reasons that I think it's very difficult to be intellectually honest and to go down the path of Islam, because there are some real contradictions. The third one is this. Muhammad was born in 570 AD, lived till about 632 AD. So obviously he never met Jesus. He insisted that Jesus never claimed to be God. Sorry, the eyewitnesses who saw Jesus, who heard Jesus, clearly wrote he claimed to be God. Now, who am I going to trust? Am I going to trust a guy who was born 570 years after the fact, who obviously never met Jesus? Or am I going to trust the eyewitnesses? Well, that's a no-brainer. Every single time I want to find out about any historical figure, I want to press the information back as far as I can, hopefully to the eyewitnesses. So Jesus clearly claimed to be God, which is a fundamental philosophical and religious mistake that Muhammad and the Quran are making when they deny the deity of Christ.
Okay, so within Christianity, let's kind of break that down. Biggest difference between non-denominational Christians versus Catholicism versus LDS Mormonism.
All right. Catholicism and non-denominational Christian churches hopefully stick to the Orthodox Christian faith. One God, 3 persons, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, deity and humanity of Christ, sinless life, atoning death on the cross, resurrection, ascension to heaven, he's coming back a second time. Now, I've got a lot of wonderful Mormon friends, but I'm sorry, Joseph Smith made some big errors. And one of the biggest errors he made is, once again, the identity of Christ. Mormonism, in its fundamental teachings, teaches that Jesus and Lucifer are brothers. What? No. Jesus is the eternal God. Lucifer is a created angel who fell, who rebelled against God. They are not brothers. And there are other reasons that I think it's very hard to follow Mormonism for intellectual reasons. You got to be intellectually honest. And Joseph Smith, nice guy in many ways, but boy, oh boy, did he ever twist some of the teachings of Christ, not the least of which is polygamy. I mean, you can't read the Bible and walk away saying polygamy is good. When Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines, the Bible's not saying, oh, that was good. When David had a few wives and some concubines, the Bible's not saying that was good. That polygamy that's recorded in the Old Testament is not saying, oh, polygamy is good. No, right at the beginning in Genesis 2:24 we read, for this reason a man shall leave his father and mother, be united to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Not the 10 become one flesh, the two become one flesh. So God's purpose in creating us male and female is, for this reason a man shall leave his father and mother, be united to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. That's not polygamy, that's monogamy.
In these uncertain times, if there's anything we need, is we need people to believe the future looks bright. So if you've heard about me saying this mission to you, we're on a mission to get 1 million people to wear this gear. And this is what we're doing. If you buy one of these hats, there's a category of buying one hat, getting the second one free. If you haven't yet worn this gear publicly, go ahead and test it out. Buy some of the gear, wear it in public, and see how many people will stop by and say, you also watch Valuetainment? You also follow PBD Podcast? I do too. Place your order. Go to vtmerch.com, click on the link above or below, place your order, and represent the VT and the PBD Podcast gear.
Got it. Okay. So within Islam, go to Islam. When a Muslim sells the benefit of becoming a Muslim, what are the benefits? If you become one, here's what's going to happen. Christianity, you accept, you're going to heaven, salvation, great. What is it with becoming a Muslim?
I think the best reason for a secular American to become a Muslim is because it provides structure. We started off this wonderful time together, Patrick, talking about relativism. Mm-hmm. Well, if you think about relativism enough, you begin to realize that you can never look into your spouse's face and say, you should not have said that. There's no should. There's no ought. And you can't look into your child's face and say to them, that was wrong what you did. No, if you're a moral relativist, it's all just a matter of choice. It's all relative. Well, you see, you try and live that out enough. You live in a family, in a neighborhood, in a school. You play on a ball team. You live in a culture. You watch a government go in that direction, and it is stinking meaningless. Life is a stinking crapshoot. And then Islam comes in saying, here's structure. Here's structure for every area of your life. And I think those Americans who have become Muslims have done it largely often for that reason. I yearn for structure. I yearn for order because this is chaos, moral relativism. It's totally chaotic.
Well, I would say, Muslim Catholics and Jews probably have more structure than Christianity does. There's a system on what you do. There's rituals. There's certain more sacrifice to be one. If you want to be a Jew, there's a lot of sacrifice you're making. If you want to be a Muslim, there's a lot of sacrifice you're making and certain habits you got to follow. And I would even put Mormonism in there because their service is longer. There's certain things you do on Monday, certain things you wear, certain structures you have to have financially. It's not just 10%, it's more. There's certain ways you go about it. Kids go in 2 years, learn a language, go to a different place, go to your, what do they call it when you go on your 2-year missions trip that you go on, right? Okay, so that's fine. That's the structure part. But that can't be it. What else are they selling for one to say, yeah, I think that makes sense. I'm open to the idea.
Well, I think obviously the Mormons bang away on family, which is great, obviously, tremendous. And Muslims, I think, do a very good job talking about devotion. You pray 5 times a day, facing Mecca, buddy. So get down on your knees and pray to God. So, there are some points there that are legitimate, I feel, very legitimate. But remember, Patrick, read the Gospels. And it was some of the most structured people that gave Jesus the most difficulty. They were called Pharisees. And they had everything structured. And they had all the rules down, and they crossed all their T's and dotted all their I's. And they were dead in their structure. Jesus comes to cause a revolution of the heart where we are overwhelmed by God's amazing grace, and that changes us at the root of our being. So yes, structure is good, but watch out for structure because structure can, especially in religion, be deadly. Legalism, Pharisaism, it can be lethal.
Got it. I saw one of these exchanges you had with one of the students, Rob. If you can play this clip, I think I saw this on TikTok where he's going back and forth with you about Prophet Muhammad, about Muslim, and then you're going back at him and you're walking away. I just want to get your reaction on this, and if you can unpack this for me, that'd be great. Go ahead, Rob.
To tell you the truth about God.
Because the Quran is factual in many places. If it's ambiguous a few places, and I believe that. Because I see the authenticity of the Quran. You can't show me two different versions and say these are both from God. I only see one version. When I see 10 different versions, I question, is it coming from God? How do we have 10 versions? Did God write this, or did the believers of God write this? They changed it, but when I only see one version, and I can show you the change of authenticity, then I believe it.
Come on, you're smart enough to have heard about Zayd bin Thabit. You know very, very well why there's one version of the Quran, I hope. Okay? You know what Uthman did, Caliph Uthman did.
What did he do?
He destroyed all the forms of the Quran that disagreed with the one that he chose through Zayd bin Thabit.
How are you going to prove that?
Well, it's a historical fact to study history. You know very well, the third Caliph, Caliph Uthman, had all the different Qurans that weren't identical gathered together, and he said, Zayd bin Thabit, you are the one to decide what is the real thing, because you're the best source of information. Why?
Can you unpack this?
You bet. Once again, you saw what he did. He went right to his great miracle, the book, the Quran. And he said, look, the Quran is so much more reliable than the Bible, because the Bible has errors in it and the Quran doesn't. It's a perfect book. Okay, so that's his argument. That's one of his fundamental beliefs. All right, but the interesting thing is, when you study how the Quran was put together, Zayd bin Thabit did a great job. And yet there were different versions that came out of it. And the third Caliph, Caliph Uthman, said, Zayd bin Thabit, I'm hiring you. We're going to destroy all these variants of the Quran, and you're going to put together the one true Quran. And that's what Zayd bin Thabit did. So that's why we have just one particular thing. Now, I had to debate a gentleman named Bart Ehrman, who was head of the religion department at UNC Chapel Hill. And he wrote a book that became a New York Times bestseller. And in this book, he points out there are 200 to 400,000 manuscript variants in the New Testament. So therefore, you can't trust that book. Well, you got to read the footnotes. Those 200 to 400,000 manuscript variants are occurring in 25,000 manuscripts. So that means we're talking 8 to 16 variants per manuscript or fragment of manuscript. The Bible is the Word of God. That does not mean that God guaranteed that there would be no variants as the Bible was passed down. And when you read those variants in the Greek manuscripts and in the Latin Vulgate, in the Syriac and Armenian and Gothic manuscripts in the Latin Vulgate, they don't change anything. They are so small, so inconsequential, it's incredible. Is the word singular or is it plural? Is it a definite or indefinite article? In Matthew chapter 1, an overly enthusiastic scribe sees that Matthew wrote, Jesus was the son of Mary who was a virgin. And this scribe got really enthusiastic about the virgin birth. So he repeats it a second time. That doesn't change anything. And then in the footnotes of John chapter 8 and Mark chapter 16, it's very clear. This is not found in the earliest Greek manuscripts. So John chapter 8, verses 1 through 11, and the end of Mark chapter 16 are not in the earliest Greek manuscripts. Well, I'm excited about that. It shows that we have such a plethora of manuscript evidence that we really have what was written in the first century. It's embarrassingly wealthy.
Yeah, so the argument is what? Is he making the argument that there's King James Version, NIV, New International Version, there's this? Is that what the argument that the fellow was making?
Which is so scary because, of course, a translation of the Greek New Testament done in the 1600s by King James Greek scholars is going to say, how art thou? When was the last time, Patrick, someone came up to you and said, how art thou? So the NIV takes the New York Times style English, takes the same Greek manuscripts and translates it into the English we speak today. That's the only difference.
Got it. So the individual that did this, is this the person you were talking about, Zayd?
Yes. Yes. Correct.
So who was he?
He was a guy who Muhammad trusted to put together the Quran.
Chief recorder, serving as a chief recorder of the Quranic text.
Yep.
He hailed from Ansar. The Ansar later joined the ranks of the Muslim army at the age of 19. After Muhammad's passing in 632, he was ordered to collect the Quran into a single volume from various written and oral sources. He was noted expert on the Quran and spent much time reciting it. Biography. Can you go a little lower, Rob? Completion of the Quran. Keep going lower, keep going lower, keep going lower. I wonder if Wikipedia will give what you're saying. Go lower, Rob. Death. Sources differ about his death. However, the fact that he died in Medina 665 is taken as authentic. Said stated, I attended the funeral of Zaid bin Thabit after he had been buried. Ibn Abbas said, oh, you people, whoever wishes to know how knowledge leaves us should know that like it is. It is like this knowledge leaves. I swear by Allah that a great deal of knowledge has just left us today. So this has been documented. What you're saying, this has been documented by who? That event actually took place.
I don't have the footnote on that one. That's a good question, Patrick. I can get that for you, though.
Yeah, no, because you said it, and I'm wondering what he was responding to it, where he's like, you know, because you said, you know it, you know who this is, you know what story I'm telling you, right?
Right.
So that's been documented by other people.
Yes. Oh, yeah, it's been and other students like him. After I say that, they get together and they say, yeah, that it did happen that way, and so we don't have an argument. But I should get the footnote. That's a very good point, Patrick.
Yeah, I'm just, you know, when it comes back to and by the way, there was a number about how many Americans have become Muslims. Rob, can you go pull up the number? It's actually not a big number. I think it's like 25,000, 20 or 25,000, of which 75% are women, by the way. 25% are men. I don't know if you know that number or not. If I'm not mistaken, can you pull it up? What percentage of Americans have converted to Muslim? Yeah. Rob, if you can pull that up. So let me see here. How many? There it is. Yeah, 20. With some saying that as many as 20,000 have been, of which, if you look it up on the Pew Research, on the left one right there, Rob, click on that. I think 75% of them are women. If you can click on that, how many Americans? Do you see it where it says what percentage is women versus men? Yeah, I think it's 75. It's 20,000 converted to Muslim, and of which 75% are women. If you find that, Rob, if we can show it. So that number is not a big number, right? When you see 20,000 in a nation of 340 million, is it almost as if in order for those values to be accepted, you have to be born into it less than you can get another person to see it and say, yeah, you know what, I'll convert into Muslim. Well, why do you think that is? Because, you know, Christianity, it's going to be a different number to be converted. They can go to other countries and convert, but still they got 1.9 billion and Christianity is 2.3 billion, give or take. Why do you think it's only 20,000 Americans that have converted into a religion of Islam to become Muslims?
I don't know. But I can promise you, Patrick, I have no understanding why a secular woman would ever convert to Islam in light of the Muslim view of women. That's beyond me.
And I think I read an article about the fact that they liked that Muslim men were more family-oriented than Christian men. They were more about the traditional way of having a family than today's Christian men were. That is the argument that was made, where they want to have a family, they want to have kids, they give me protection, I feel a sense of community, and I want to be part of that community.
That makes sense.
That was the argument. Is this the one according to American women converted to Islam for the right reason? Okay, there you go. A sense of identity and alignment with cultural views on gender roles and ethnic diversity, moral and appeal to Muslim moral values and dissatisfaction with their former faith, marrying a Muslim or the family factors, attraction to Islam's view of women's rights, comprehensive satisfaction with the comprehensive Islam. Yeah, well, you know, that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me here. This is why I opened it up with asking a question to see if America, if we're going to see a president. I went to one of my pastors. I think you and I were talking about this offline. And I went to him, the one I was telling you about. And I flew into L.A. and I went to his church and we sat in a corner. And I said, do you know why I'm here? He says, yeah, you're just here to visit me. I said, no, I'm here. I think you need to run for office. He says, what? I said, yeah, I think you need to run for office. He says, what do you mean run for office? I said, why don't you run for office? He said, I don't understand this. I said, why don't pastors in the Christian community encourage 200, 300, 400, 500 pastors to run for office? Why don't you encourage it? So no one's even come up to me talking about this. Well, I am. I'm having a conversation with you. Why don't you think about it? Why would God wants me to be in church, and this is what I said. Well, what if you take those values and principles in there, and as a governor, as a senator, as a mayor, as a Congress, as a president, you can share some of those values. Like, can you imagine if, the president is on TV and he says, well, America's going through challenging times right now. Whether you're on the left, the right, or in the middle, whether you agree with me or don't agree with me, I would ask you to pray with me. You don't have to repeat it if you're not comfortable, but I'm going to pray. And if you can bear with me while I'm going through this prayer, I would kindly appreciate it. But if not, I also respect your values and principles. Having said that, Heavenly Father, and then what if that actually happened? And then what if when we're going through these difficult times, somebody said, when I'm going through it, I lean on faith and I lean on God and I lean on His judgment. What if we went back to selling the dream about at one point, we got what we wanted with these founding fathers, and all we're doing is sometimes sitting there and bashing what they did, and we forget what things we've done. Some of us act like we walk on water, this next generation. I know I don't walk on water. I know you don't walk on water. Why are we treating everybody like they walked on water? Why don't we give them the same grace that you want to have from us? Why don't we do that? What happened to us, right? What if that kind of a message was being given? Oh my God, do you know what would happen? 100 million people would be sitting there. They would get off TV and say, what just happened right now?
Yeah.
What just happened right now? The fear of God comes back in, encouraging people that night to say, if you can do this, please, tonight, take 5 minutes, take 10 minutes. Even if you haven't prayed, pray. Why don't you do that? I remember when I was an atheist, 25 years of my life, and I'm in the Army. I had one of the higher PT scores, so they allowed me to get away for the weekend with this man. And the only agreement that they had is I had to do Bible study with him for 1 hour per night. It was like 30 of us or whatever. And this is 97, which at that time it was okay to do. So we go to this man's house. He's probably in his early 70s. And we would do the whole thing. And he was on a lake, so we would jump in the water and we would play pool. And I would always be in the corner, billiards, all the way in the back. I didn't want to hear any of it. I'm like, stop. I don't trust pastors. I don't trust churches. I don't trust any of this stuff. And he's doing what he's doing. And at the end of the 3 days, he gives me his Bible. And he says, hey, my parents gave this to me December 24th, 1974 as a gift. He says, I think you need this more than I do. I said, trust me, you're wasting your time giving it to me. So I'm telling you, I think yes, keep it to it's a gift from your parents. He says, no, just take it. Do whatever you want to do with it, but I'm going to give it to you.
Wow.
Gave it to me, right? And then a few years later, going through the process, and then I'm 24 years old, 25 years old, doing Bible study from 6 p.m. to 2 o'clock in the morning in Pasadena, California.
Wow.
And then eventually I'm in Pasadena, Old Pass on Colorado, standing outside of nightclubs, holding a sign, John 3:16, at 25 years old. And in 2003, Rob, can you type in 2003 Rose Bowl Billy Graham? Billy Graham came and preached at the Rose Bowl. For 4 days. It was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I went every single day except for Saturday. And I went and that's it. I was there. Every single day I was there.
Wow.
And they eventually called it the Billy Graham Day. In Pasadena, they created a Billy Graham Day.
Yeah.
And you're standing there and you're watching him do his thing. And Rick Warren brought him up and guys were performing and, singing. And it was a beautiful thing. But then slowly but surely, this idea of fear of the Lord and wanting to have the favor came in. And every and any major thing that's ever happened in my life goes back to the role that God played in my life. I mean, if it wasn't for that, my confidence comes from there. My confidence doesn't come from anything. I don't have a Harvard degree to have my confidence on. Let me tell you, I have a degree. So,
right.
I don't have a family that, we come from a very no, my confidence came from that part. And I think
beautiful.
I'd love to see more where we stop acting like gods and we give credit to a higher power where we're being held accountable. And we encourage kids, parents, mothers, fathers to see their jobs as a responsibility to do something with it. We don't have that right now.
Mm-hmm.
And even look at the debate last week, June 27.
Mm-hmm.
How much conversation came about God?
Mm-hmm.
What did you see about God?
Mm-hmm.
What rock? It's not even a topic anymore.
Mm-mm.
We don't even think about it anymore. Just kind of like, hey, do what you want to do and go about it the way you want. But that's why I'm curious if there's gonna be a movement of pastors running and what that would look like.
Mm-hmm.
What that would look like. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
You're a great storyteller, pastors. Good ones are great storytellers. They know how to tap into history. You have an element of historian.
Mm-hmm.
You can tap into previous times where we screwed up as a nation to, a lesson.
Yep.
Help us become better fathers, better husbands, better family men, better sons, okay? Better citizens to society. There's a lot of different qualities that would bring.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe just for a case study side, I'm curious to see what it will look like.
Fascinating.
What it would look like if we got there. Your favorite people to debate when you're going out there and you're talking to kids. What's your favorite conversation when you're having with them? What is your favorite where you actually enjoy? You said, okay, we disagree. We're not on the same page.
Yeah.
But I enjoy kids on campuses who do X, Y, Z.
You bet. What I really enjoy is talking to someone who has totally dismissed God, was an atheist like you were at one point, totally dismissed Christ. And I love to begin to pile up the evidence that God exists, a lot of evidence that God exists, a lot of evidence that Jesus really rose from the dead, a lot of evidence that the New Testament Gospels are historically reliable. And when I begin to see the eyes change and the facial expressions change, and when I begin to watch them realize, oh gosh, I can't dismiss God as a fairy tale. I cannot dismiss Jesus as a fairy tale. Instead, I'm going to have to take him seriously. Oh, Patrick, that just lights my fire.
Yeah, I bet. When you're out there having these, is there a common thread you notice that comes up where you can sit there and say, yeah, I can tell, from this university, Ole Miss, you guys were all bringing this up. From this university, they said this. From that university, they said this. Where you notice a common thread amongst what professors are telling kids, where they said, my professor said this, my teacher said this. Do you notice a trend and a pattern?
Yeah. There are different academic levels on different campuses. The Ivy League schools, Stanford, have a reputation that they've earned. There are other schools where it's very difficult to have an intelligent conversation where you go point, counterpoint, and what's the evidence for what you believe. So there are some differences academically, intellectually, but coming to faith in Christ is not primarily an intellectual thing. It's primarily an issue of the heart. I'm a follower of Christ because of God's love that was shown to me through my dad and my mom, and there is nothing that's going to dissuade me about Christ because I have experienced his love in my life. But then as you grow, you have to think it through in terms of, is this the truth, or was I just cleverly hoodwinked by my parents in believing this? So you've got to be a skeptic, and there's a place for that. And I was just reading the Gospels with the question, how many times did Jesus ask questions? Do you know he asked over 290 questions? And he asked the question, what do you think? What do you think? A man had 100 sheep. One wandered away. He leaves the 99 on the hills and he goes looking for that one lost sheep. What do you think? And he's challenging us to think clearly through the issues. So that's why it's such a privilege to talk with people and ask, what do you think? I was speaking after doing open air at Columbia University. I had the privileges of joining a class that was studying the difference between Calvin and Zwingli's view of war. And the teacher, the professor, was a postdoc grad from England. And it was a brilliant class. After the class, I'm walking out with the professor. I said, Professor, that was an amazing discussion. Thank you for treating me to that. Now, let me ask you, sir, what do you believe? Do you believe in God? Do you believe in Christ? Or what's the option? And this brilliant guy looks me in the face and says, I am not a good person for you to ask that question of. That's scary. That's an unexamined life. You don't know what you're living for. You haven't analyzed what motivates you through life.
Did he tell you why he's not the right person to ask that question?
He just said, I can't answer you. It's this big myth of agnosticism that you can live your life not knowing, and that's intellectually acceptable and intellectually respected. Patrick, it's impossible to live an agnostic life out. You have to decide, is this person valuable or not? If so, why or why not? You have to answer the question, what's the purpose of my life? What are my ambitions and goals? You have no choice. You have no choice but to make ethical decisions every day. Do you cheat the IRS or do you pay your taxes? You have no choice but you have to answer the question every day. Am I going to lie or tell the truth? Am I going to cheat and steal or am I going to respect another person's property? And then, by golly, you're going to have to sit in funerals of grandma and grandpa and mom and dad. And I'm sorry, if you don't ask the question, is there life after death or not, you're brain dead. Am I going to see this person again or not? So you have to answer those questions. All of them. Everybody does. And that's why this idea of, I don't know, you can't live that out. You have to say, no, I'm never going to see this person again. Yes, I am going to see this person again. Why? Why? Yes, there is a purpose to my life. This is it. Why do you believe that? Yes, I think there are some moral absolutes, maybe not many, but at least a few. Why? Who defines those moral absolutes? Who defines the purpose of your life? Who sets the ambitions that you are following? I mean, if you're a halfway thinking person, you've got to examine what's going on inside. What are you doing with your life? You can't live agnostic. If you ask me, hey, Cliff, you like Coke or Pepsi? I can say, I don't know, I'm agnostic. You're right. I don't know whether I like Coke or Pepsi. And guess what? It really doesn't matter. But when it comes to God and the question of human value, human purpose, ethics, and is there life after death, you have no option but to face those questions.
Could it be because folks who say that, they're so logical and everything has to be proven now, where the idea is no matter what I do, I will never get 100% answer to those questions. So why put my energy into something that is either faith or it's never going to be 100%? Why would I do that? It's not worth me doing that.
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
And here's what's wrong with that. You and I have beautiful wives, don't we? Mm-hmm. Do you know your wife 100%?
No.
No. And I don't know my wife 100%. Mm-hmm. Does that mean you and I can't have a relationship with our wives because we don't understand them 100%? No. We have a wonderful relationship with our wives. In other words, you've got to live with mystery, and I got to live with mystery. And if I can't learn to live with mystery, I'm going to have a horrible relationship with my wife, and you will have a horrible relationship with your wife. To demand that our wives tell me everything there is to know about them, they could never do that, and I couldn't grasp it. Well, if that's true about our relationship with our wives and our children, how much more true that is about a relationship with God. Where on earth do I get off of this intellectual arrogance that says, unless God answers every question I've got, unless I can understand everything about God, I can't believe? If you get a PhD in biology, do you know everything there is to know about biology? Mm-hmm. No. If you do postdoc work in biology, do you know everything there is to know about biology? No. Does anybody know everything there is to know about any area of life, be it biology, chemistry, history, psychology? No. We have partial knowledge, and you better learn to live with mystery. Well, if that's true about every branch of knowledge, it's going to be true about God.
You better get used to living with mystery.
Yep.
Because that applies to kids.
Yep.
That applies to spouse.
Yeah.
Friends, people you hire.
Yep.
You don't have a choice. You
right.
hope to be somewhat intuitive, be able to read at least a little bit to say this guy's full of it or not.
Yeah. Yep.
To live with that, huh? Okay. So there's a Bill Maher. You know who Bill Maher is? Okay. He's 69, I want to say, single, no kids. Hates kids, doesn't want to get kids. He has 68. Asked me a question. He says, so, what's your story? Why do you like kids? And I said, what's the purpose of life? He says, oh, give me a break. Oh, give me a break. I mean, this thing with kids, there's plenty of purpose to life outside of having kids and all this stuff, right? This is when I was on. All right. So I sit there. What is the purpose of being 68 years old, super wealthy, famous, no wife, no kids? Okay. Yeah, maybe, because he's a liberal. Then let's go to the other guy. Who's the other good-looking guy that we had? I want to ask the question, Rob. Why are you not married? The guy that he would do the makeover of the houses, and what's his name?
Mike Rowe.
Mike Rowe. Mike Rowe is here. Can you pull up Mike Rowe's age? good-looking guy, right? I mean, this guy is as American as apple pie, right? Tall, handsome, strong, firm, conviction, great communicator, incredible voice, good-looking, not married, no kids. Yeah, it's a decision I made, right? And we even had one other one where I asked the same question as well. Larry Elder, I don't know if you know Larry Elder, right? You know Larry Elder. Do you know who he is?
Commentator?
Commentator Larry Elder. Same thing. No kids. 72 years old, right? The three couldn't be more different.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But they chose to live a life not having a kid. The argument on one person could be like, well, I just don't want the responsibility, and I wasn't going to be a good father. If I would have had a kid, the life I was living, I wanted to be a father that could give time, but I was not going to do anything else but that. You have 5 kids. How many kids do you have? Is it
three boys?
3 boys.
Yep.
Okay. So one of them is a doctor, right?
That's a brother.
Your brother's a doctor.
Yeah.
What do the 3 do?
2 of them are ministers. They work with me at the church and on campuses, and one is in financial services.
Financial services.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. In Connecticut.
And New York City.
Okay, fantastic. Well, good for them. I was in it for 20 years. It's a great business to be a part of. So what have been some of the greatest highs you've ever had in your life? Greatest highs you've ever had? Were moments where you go to and you say, Patrick, I cannot even tell you what I felt like on the day when ...
You bet. First greatest high is when I first experienced the presence of God, which meant God is real now. I'd been taught it at church by my parents, but that first time when I was 9 years old and I experienced the presence of Christ with me, that was incredible. Second one was my wife. When she said yes to me and we got married and she committed her life to me till death parts us, wow, that was amazing. And she's been an amazing partner and wife to me. And then thirdly, I got to be there when our 3 boys were born. Oh my goodness. The doctor was a hoot. He was a Jewish gentleman. And, I was just sitting there going, oh my goodness. And he says, you know something, for a minister, you're awful quiet. I said, well, what does that mean? He said, well, the last minister, I delivered his child, and the guy was lying out on the floor praising the Lord. And I said, I'm sorry, doctor, you're right. I guess I'm not that type. But I do want to thank 3 people. First of all, I want to thank God for the birth of this child. Second, I want to thank you. And thirdly, I want to thank the nurse. And this gentleman looks me in the face and says, in that order? And I said, yes, sir, in that order. God, you, and the nurse. But it was just overwhelming to see those little boys born. It was just incredible, and they have brought so much delight to my wife and me. It's just, I can't describe it.
What would you consider the life of a complete man? Like, what is it to, I'm a 16-year-old boy. I'm a 20-year-old man. I'm a 25, 30-year-old man. I don't know if I want to give up the playboy lifestyle. I'm enjoying myself, I don't want to get married. Too many risks of getting married and family. And what if she does this? And what if she lies to you? What if she takes half of everything you got? And, you got a kid and you're living a divorced life and you got to go back. Why would I want to do that? Why not just live a regular life? And maybe in my 40s, 50s, 60s, I can always have kids later on in my life. What would you say is the life worth living for a man, and why?
You have just done a very good job describing why so many guys don't want to get married. And it's tragic. And some of it I understand. They've watched their parents go through a messy divorce. There's been pain off the charts. And yes, that is tragic. But I think here's the challenge. Life is not perfect. We all get hurt. Now the question is, how are we going to deal with the hurt? And I'm tempted to wrap a cocoon around me to protect myself from ever getting hurt again. But that often leads right into bitterness, cynicism, loneliness, and that's tragic. So the challenge is to experience the love of Christ, the love of God, His healing, and allow Christ to be the security in your life. And then based in that security of His love and His truth, His presence with you, to then heal and reach out and begin to make commitments to people, which leads us into the second point. Marriage is a commitment. And in our culture, commitment is a dirty word. I don't want to commit to you. I want to leave my options open. The problem with that is it leads to loneliness. It leads to superficial relationships. It leads to trivializing life. When you make a commitment to a person, you bring security into their life by telling them, I'm going to be with you till you die. Do you know how much security that brings into another person? Do you know how much strength that brings to another person? And then when you bring little children into the world and love them with the love of God and celebrate them and get to know them and watch them develop, it is absolutely incredible. It brings so much joy, so much delight to life. But it's scary how many people say, no, I'm going to have sexual liaisons. I'm not going to make a commitment because I'm scared and because I've also been hurt and I don't want to go through the mess that my parents went through. So therefore, I'm not going to get involved. That is a tragic decision.
Somebody may say, come on, Cliff. You're the son of a pastor, man. I mean, your father and your mother set a great example. 56 years married, 6 kids. Your dad spoke 5 languages. My dad only spoke 1 language. Shut up and get the hell out, right? You don't know my life. You don't know what I lived. You don't know the stuff that I had. If you had lived my life, you would also never get married and never want to have kids and da-da-da-da-da, right? What do you say to him?
First point is, no Christian's perfect, and my mom and dad were not perfect. My mom and dad had a lot of pain in their life, and we 6 kids growing up in their home experienced some really stony, quiet times, as well as some verbal barbs that were pretty mean. And if anybody tells me we're not sinners, I'm going to say, I'm sorry. That couldn't be further from the truth. Because my mom and dad were devoted to Christ, but they struggled in their marriage big time. Now, I'm not going to base my life on my mom and dad. I'm going to base it on Jesus Christ, on the living God. You know, I've been thinking about this, Patrick. When I'm about to die, God could say to me, Cliff, if you have built your security on anything or anyone other than me, you're going to lose it right now. Cliff, you're going to lose everything except me. And that's what real faith is. My security, my identity is found in Christ and in God. Therefore, I don't have to be afraid. I don't have to live a life responding to the pain I've experienced growing up. Instead, I can be secure in Christ, strong in Him, and then reach out and, yes, take risks. And of course, marriage is a risk. You bet it's a risk. But it's a risk well worth taking, I would argue.
Okay, let's transition to a different topic. Abortion. Topic of abortion, okay? Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on birth control pills?
My thoughts on birth control pills are, because it is not terminating a fertilized egg, if we're talking about birth control, it's preventing the egg and the sperm from coming together.
Not morning after pill, but birth control pills to prevent from one getting pregnant.
Right. I support that.
You support that?
I would argue that's bringing order to nature.
So I saw something the other day, Rob. I don't even have this prepared. If I find this clip, I saw this guy explaining this. Let me see if I can find it. The guy does such a great job. I'm not going to be able to find it. No. So he says the reason why women became more promiscuous is because of the birth control pills.
Yeah.
Because that got you to say, well, guess what? I'm good. I'm not going to get pregnant. So it made people not think about their body count, his words, because he was making the argument about the fact that whether you've been with 50 men or 100 men or 10 men or whatever it is, who cares? I'm not getting pregnant anyways.
Right.
You know, that's the argument he made, where then eventually, you know, a man, when he finds out the true number or whatever it is, yeah, I'm not interested. The guy that you want to marry may not be interested in wanting to marry, you know, somebody like you. You think a birth control pill was a net positive or a net negative to society?
Oh, I think there's a little bit of positive, but there was a lot of negative. I agree with what he's saying. It definitely helped people think, oh, well, I'm not going to get in trouble here, so I can live a sexually immoral life. And that's sad.
But you're saying there's some net positive to it as well?
Yes.
From what standpoint?
Bringing order to nature. I think that for some of us to have 12, 15 kids would be, wow, that'd be a lot to handle.
That'd be a great day for me. I'll have 20 more kids if I could. My wife
good
is the
for
one
you.
that says she's done. So you're saying order.
Order. Bringing order to nature.
Isn't that a form of playing God, though? Isn't that a form of playing God?
Right.
To have birth control pills?
And that is the excellent Catholic argument. And I respect them highly, but I would say, no, it's not an issue of playing God. The same way my younger brother, who's a transplant surgeon, is not playing God when he transplants kidneys and livers, but he is using the mind that God gave him to bring order where there is destructiveness and death.
So what do you think about gene editing? Have you heard of CRISPR?
I haven't heard of
Okay.
CRISPR.
Rob, if you go to CRISPR is short for clustered, regularly interspaced, short palindromic repeats. You ask your brother, he would probably know what this is.
Yeah.
It's a technology that research scientists use to selectively modify the DNA of living organisms.
Yep.
So they call it gene editing.
Mm-hmm.
So, where they can, there was a clip about gene editing where a person can go in, husband and wife, and doctor asks, so how tall would you want your son to be? 6'4". All right. What color eyes would you want him to have? Green, skin tone, a little bit of, a little bit right here shit. Okay. Got color hair. Okay. Muscular development. How about this? How about that? Where you get to do gene editing to pick and choose what your future child could potentially look like.
Yeah.
How would the relationship of God and faith and Christianity, would there be a contradiction with gene editing?
I think there could easily be, yes. And I think there was a real contradiction when it came to eugenics and basically doing away with Jews, African Americans, through horrendous medical practices. And obviously the abortion issue was figuring in there as well. And that was racism up the wazoo, pathetic.
Racism?
Sure. Let's wipe out African Americans and just abort little black babies right and left in the name of, well, I won't go any further. But embarrassing, totally embarrassing. And I think that there were some Americans who were part of influencing Hitler when it came to Aryan supremacy and helped him justify what he did to the Jewish people in the Holocaust. And there was some of that type of thinking going on in certain leaders' minds in the United States, unfortunately. And that's unacceptable for a follower of Christ.
You seem to be a man who maybe would have an opinion on this. October 7th, Hamas attacks Israel.
Yep.
Okay. They come in, boom, you hear the stories, turns into this war that's been going on since then.
Yep.
Protesting in America, school, you're seeing naked girls in streets wearing a shirt says pro-Gaza or free Palestine with literally nothing on. And they're saying for Palestine, free Palestine. And then on the complete opposite side, you're seeing an argument coming up where Thomas Massey, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it says, why is it that everybody in D.C. has somebody that they sit down with and they talk to, they meet with an AIPAC representative? What kind of influence does Israel have in U.S.? This is a Christian nation. Why does Israel have so much influence over this nation? Where do you stand with the whole Israel-Palestine war and the stories that we keep hearing about?
A thug is a thug. I don't care if they're Hezbollah, Hamas, Israeli, Palestinian, American. A thug is a thug. And Jesus Christ calls us to be peacemakers. That does not mean that we put down our arms. I am very grateful for your service to our country in the 101st Airborne. Mm-hmm. And why do I support military? I do not support American troops killing people in order to keep gas prices low at the pump. I encourage ROTC students to become conscientious objectors if America ever asks them to do that. But to prevent the slaughter of innocent people is good, really, really good. And it's not murder, it's killing motivated to protect the innocent from being slaughtered. Now, one of the most conservative Christian groups in the United States, the Amish people, are total pacifists, and they take the teaching of Jesus. If someone strikes you on the right cheek, turn to the other also, and they apply it to across the board. I think that's a misinterpretation of Scripture, but I would never try and change their opinion. I have great respect for them. But when it comes to Israel, Palestine, Hezbollah, Hamas, Ukraine, Russia, China, North Korea, A thug is a thug, and Christ calls us to be peacemakers, and unfortunately I think that at times that requires we use force as we're able to. I mean, if you and I go into a restaurant, a guy pulls out a machine gun and starts blowing people away. If you hit him high and I hit him low and we break his neck in the process, that is not murder. That is killing, motivated by a drive to preserve the innocent from being slaughtered. And I would argue that that is just.
Why do you think on so many campuses the argument's being made if this is not fair, this is a genocide, why are you letting this happen? Why does, Israel have a open, permission to go do whatever they want to do to anybody else? Why do they have such wide influence where they control so many different powerful institutions? Why do you constantly bow down to, Israel and allow them to do whatever? I mean, this is said by a lot of different people.
Right.
Why, and it's to a point where guys who went to Harvard, billionaires who gave money to these institutions, $100 million, $200, was like, listen, I'm done with you guys. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Where it's almost causing many Jews who historically have always been democratic, because that's been the party that's been kind of like, been on making them feel safe. They're like, listen, I don't even think the Democratic Party is for me anymore. I kind of got to look at other options for myself right now. We've never gone through that before. What do you think about this movement that's happened specifically the last 7-8 months?
I have to be very careful, Patrick, because I have not thought it through well enough. But that's why I answered you the way I did at first. A thug is a thug. I don't care if they're Jew, Arab, Hamas, Hezbollah, American. During the Civil War, a minister came up to Abraham Lincoln and said, President Lincoln, let's pray that God is on our side in this horrible conflict. And I love Abraham Lincoln. He looks a minister in the face and he says, no, we're not going to pray that God is on our side. We're going to pray that we are on God's side, for God's side is always right. And it's far too easy to take God and use God to baptize my particular cause, my particular passion. And we've got to exercise humility and be careful of that.
Very well put. We got to make sure that God's on our side, but the fact that we are on God's side, it's pretty wild. By the way, you talked about Jesus earlier, the fact that he asked over 290 questions, right?
Yeah.
What made him a great communicator? Like, what can the rest of the world learn about the way he, was that good of a communicator?
First of all, his authenticity. John the Baptist. Why did he have John the Baptist be the predecessor? I mean, that dude was weird. The authenticity of John the Baptist and the authenticity of Jesus Christ were off the charts. And I think all of us long for authenticity. We're sick and tired of hypocrisy and insincerity and what's your angle and how can you use me and manipulate me? No, the authenticity of Christ was incredible. Secondly, he went right for the heart. He spoke to issues that were so relevant, so important for all of us. Thirdly, he spoke very clearly. He used analogies right out of nature, right out of everyday life. The parable of the sower in Matthew chapter 13. A farmer went out to sow, and some seed fell on the path, other seed fell on the rocky soil, and other seed fell among the thorns, and other seed fell in the good soil, and it grew and produced a great crop. So he was in touch with his culture, he was in touch with his Father, and he spoke in ways that people could understand.
Authenticity, went to the heart, spoke clearly, analogies, and metaphor. And apparently he asked a lot of questions.
He sure did.
And his question was, what do you think? I like that. What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think? It's probably one of the most common questions we ask here, right? What do you think about this? What do you think about that?
Good.
Do you follow Neuralink? Are you close to what Elon Musk is doing with Neuralink?
I'm not.
The chips to put in your head.
Yeah.
Have you heard about that?
I've heard about it, but I don't know much.
You don't have an opinion.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about AI and what direction it's going? Is AI going to get us to be closer to God, or is AI going to get us to say, hey man, the new God is going to be AI technology, I think we're making so much progress that I don't know if we're going to need, maybe people are going to be saying this, I don't think we need it as much as we did before because AI is the new God. Will there be a time where AI will be the new God?
For some people, yes, and that'll be tragic. But that's been true all along. We live in a culture where science is God for a lot of people, for far too many people. And of course, the irony is that modern science began in the Christian West. It began in an environment that said there's an intelligent creator who created an orderly creation and gave us minds, rational minds, that we can use to understand the order of creation. I mean, I love what Einstein pointed out when he said, the real miracle? The real miracle is that my mind can understand reality around me. I mean, why is there this connection? It's a great point, Einstein. And the point is, God created this reality in an orderly way. He created nature, and he gave us rational minds that we, by exercising in a responsible way, can unlock the secrets of the universe. That's why Johann Kepler, the father of modern astronomy, as he peers out into the stars at night, exclaims, "Oh God, I am thinking your thoughts after you." And see, that's good faith, and it's good science.
I'd be curious to know how much AI is being discussed from stage by pastors today. You know, because in the financial industry, you would always see what's the new thing, you know, big insurance companies and financial firms are afraid of. At one point, it was all cybersecurity. They stole 86,000 social security numbers of clients that are, oh my God, we can't have that. That's a lot of risk. You know, what does your cybersecurity insurance look like? And everybody was getting cybersecurity insurance, right?
Yeah.
Today, you know, ChatGPT comes out. How are you using ChatGPT? And, you know, are you getting the enterprise software of this thing and that thing? And, you know, what is AI going to do to disrupt the industry? I wonder how AI is going to disrupt the church as an industry. You know, the industry of religion, if you can say that. When I mean religion, I mean all of them, combine all of them that are out there. Are you at all concerned about it, or not really? It's just not a real topic. I mean, when you guys, I'm assuming you have other pastors you're friends with, other senior pastors and you talk to. Does that even come up, the concerns about AI, or no?
Some guys can write their sermons using
AI. That's right.
So that has come up. And no, I have no desire to do that, that's for sure. It doesn't come up a tremendous amount. And my attitude towards it is it's no different from the atomic bomb. It's no different from these incredible weapons we're inventing. It can be used for good, and it's sure as easy to use it for evil. It's the same issue. Basic at the heart of it is the same issue. What am I going to do with the talents, the mind, the reason that God has blessed me with? Am I going to do good with it, or am I going to do evil?
Okay, so it doesn't seem like it's something that you're too worried about AI. Although your church looks like it would be a headquarters campus of Apple when they were smaller. I don't know if you guys, Rob, have you seen the church's pictures? Go to images and well, that's the sickest campus there, but I'm not even saying that. Go a little lower. Look at that. Keep going lower, Rob. There's a whole picture of what it looked like. The one right there in the middle to the left. No, one down, right there. Look at that. That's the campus we're talking about. That looks like a AI company's headquarters, right? We're going to find AI to get you in contact with people in heaven. Imagine if, I wouldn't be surprised if a pastor gives a sermon like that here sometime soon. Are you familiar with Billy Carson?
No.
Okay. What are your thoughts on aliens? Do you think aliens exist?
Well, obviously the Bible says they're angels, so there are other beings that exist, but I'm totally open to aliens, but I don't see enough evidence at this point to believe in them, but it's possible.
Okay, so we have Billy Carson on, and here's what he had to say 2 weeks ago. Go ahead, Rob. You're right. So you think Jesus was an alien?
I think Jesus was half human, half alien, and I'll tell you why. When you look at the Apocrypha text, you discover, first of all, in the regular Bible, you discover he's born of a virgin birth, right? But then in the Apocrypha text, you discover that his grandmother was also born of a virgin birth. So it seems like this establishment of a bloodline there specifically. When you read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, you discover that he talks about he developed the ability to incarnate at will on and in any plane that he desires. That's pretty powerful stuff. He's saying he can come back however he wants and when he wants and in any dimension that he wants. He even talks about having rejuvenation chambers, which is what I believe the Serapeum is located in Saqqara in Egypt, is one of his rejuvenation chambers, where they would actually create bodies and put bodies in these gigantic megaton stone boxes made of granite and diorite, which are still radioactive, by the way. You can take your Geiger counter, they're still radioactive. They have an energy source coming out of them. And then he said that I would transfer my consciousness from one body to the next. He would leave another body in there rejuvenating for 100 years, then he'd come back and get it, and he'd do that over and over again. And by that method, he lived through eons. Pretty interesting. So I think maybe they decided to come back through a womb.
What do you think about what he's saying?
I think the apocryphal Gospels, the pseudepigraphal works, the Gnostic Gospels are not reliable. So when I want to find out about Jesus, I go to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John do not say that Mary's grandma or Jesus' grandma was a virgin. It doesn't say that Mary was a virgin for the rest of her life. Jesus had siblings, younger brothers and sisters probably. So you got to be real careful. Obviously, Dan Brown made a lot of money with the Da Vinci Code and talking about the Gnostic Gospels, and Mary Magdalene was married to Jesus and all that kind of stuff. No, Mary Magdalene wasn't married to Jesus. And the last temptation of Christ was not to have sex with Mary Magdalene. Last temptation of Christ was, as he's bleeding and dying on the cross, my God, why have you forsaken me? He experienced cosmic alienation from his Father, and Paul explains that in 2 Corinthians 5. He says, God made him who had no sin to be sin for us. So when God the Father dumped the sins of the world on his Son Jesus, he became sin. He was separated from his Father, who he had spent eternity with, and he cries out, my God, why have you forsaken me? So I think it's important, Patrick, to check our sources. And when it comes to Jesus, it's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the writings of Paul and Peter, the 27 New Testament books that are really reliable.
He seems like he's very he's got conviction the way he's talking. The way he's breaking it down for you.
Yeah.
Last clip I'll show you before we wrap up. Kenneth Copeland. A lot of times when you talk to people about going to churches, they typically, and they don't want to go back to a church because they had a bad experience at a church. A pastor or somebody, here's a clip that you've probably seen. This has gotten not hundreds of millions of views, but billions of views. Rob, if you can just play this clip for a minute. We're not going to play the whole 11-minute clip.
Do you ever use your private jets to go visit your vacation homes, for example?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Again, getting back to the comment, you said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did.
Little weird.
We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities and powers.
Can you explain what you meant by that term then? Just explain, because it's really simple. You said you didn't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. What did you mean?
Well, let me ask you.
Do you think that people that fly commercial are demons?
If you give me a chance to talk, sweetheart, I'll explain this to you. But it's a biblical thing. It's a spiritual thing. It doesn't have anything to do with people. People, I love people. Jesus loves people. But people get pushed in alcohol. Do you think that's a good place for a preacher to be and prepare to go preach to a lot of people when somebody in there is dragging some woman down an aisle? It made me so mad to see that on television. I wanted to punch the guy out myself. I can't be doing that while I'm getting ready to preach.
I mean, first of all, what made him think that was a good look? How many times has he had to have explained himself here? But what's your reaction to this when you see it?
I don't know the man, so I can't comment on him. But I can tell you that every time I step onto a university campus, one of the first things I have to do is smash the stereotype of a follower of Christ, of a Christian. And it's embarrassing. I don't care if it's the Crusades, the Inquisition, the Salem witch trials, some hypocritical televangelist, some sexually immoral priest or minister or evangelist. So that's the first stereotype I have to pop. And I've got to point out, if anybody on this campus has a right to reject Christ because of Christian hypocrites, it's the African Americans on this campus. Because the African Americans on this campus had grandparents and great-grandparents who were enslaved by white Christians. And yet you'll notice on this campus there are a lot of African Americans who have put their faith in Christ. They have not given a white Christian racist the power to turn them off to the true Jesus who did not have a racist bone in his body. Are there Christian hypocrites? Obviously, yes. Is that tragic? Obviously, yes. Please don't give a Christian hypocrite the power to turn you off to the true Christ who did not have a hypocritical bone in his body.
How often you've been in this space for a while as a pastor, when you're having dinner with your father and he's sitting there talking to you, what would he say? Hey, Cliff, if you ever choose to follow my footsteps and want to become a pastor yourself and preach, keep your eye out for this and for that or for this, Like, for example, Charlie Munger, they were interviewing his kids. What is it like having dinner with Charlie Munger when you guys were kids? He says, Dad would always tell horror stories about his best friends that made bad mistakes, right? And royally screwed up their lives. What were some things your dad would tell you? Because you're choosing to become a pastor. What would he say? Listen, Cliff, if you choose to do it, what would those things be?
Dad was an immigrant from Switzerland, started at the bottom of the business world in Manhattan, worked his way up to the top of a company. And then because he would not cheat on the corporate income tax, he was fired. And he said, I've just become a follower of Christ and I cannot cheat on that taxes. Secondly, he saw a lot of people in our area get so busy that they were distracted from Christ. So he consistently warned me about integrity, don't lose integrity, and about distractions. Don't get so caught up in the money race that you lose your focus on Christ and you become distracted. So those are the two big warnings. Stay passionate for Christ. He loves you. He gave his life for you. You love him and give your life for him.
Would he debate with you? Would he sit there and, push back on certain things? Or what was it like? So, Cliff, what do you think about XYZ? What do you think about that? Was he somebody that would do that to help raise his kids?
No, he wouldn't debate too much with us, but he and I did debate about Seventh-day Adventism. Those were our intense debates, but I have so much love and respect for him. He was just incredible the way he lived out the faith, and that's the key for a pastor and his kids. Far too many pastors' kids are wrecks, spiritual disasters, because they hear a guy talking about love and about Jesus and all, and then they watch him live their life in an embarrassing way. And so my father's integrity and his consistent love marked me for life.
Who's the modern-day Billy Graham today, Cliff?
I don't think there is a modern-day Billy Graham today. I think there are a bunch of us who will never be able to fill his shoes. We're just trying to extend his shadow.
Yeah. He was one of a kind.
Yes,
I'll give you
was.
the final words. What's the last thing you want to say to the audience?
For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. A comedian in Las Vegas said, "How much do you think I have to hate you if I believe that Jesus is the way to heaven and not tell you?"
Wow. And we'll finish on that note, gang. Is there a website or a place for people to go to? Is there a book? Is there anything you want the audience to go to learn more about your work?
Oh, Patrick, thank you. I'm so ignorant, though. But on YouTube, it's Give Me an Answer with Stuart and Cliff Connectley. On Instagram, it's Stuart, lowercase dash, Connectley. On TikTok, it's just Stuart Connectley. And on Facebook, it's Give Me an Answer.
Okay, Rob, so why don't we put those links below, specifically Give Me an Answer on YouTube and all the other links. Pastor Cliff Connectley, thank you for coming out. I really enjoyed it. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye.
In these uncertain times, if there's anything we need people to believe the future looks bright. So if you've heard about me saying this mission to you, we're on a mission to get 1 million people to wear this gear. And this is what we're doing. If you buy one of these hats, there's a category of buying one hat, getting the second one free. If you haven't yet worn this gear publicly, go ahead and test it out. Buy some of the gear, wear it in public, and see how many people will stop by and say, you also watch Valuetainment? You also follow PBD Podcast? I do too. Place your order. Go to vtmerch.com, click on the link above or below, place your order, and represent the VT and the PBD Podcast gear.